He's really good.
I haven't seen him.
Yeah, that's fun. That's why I'm excited to watch Timpview. I think it's got dudes all over the place.
They do. There's also the Helaman, the Suga kid. Yeah.
Helaman's that quarterback I was talking about for Timpview. Yeah. The guy as well. Yeah, I heard he's wild. He's like homeschooled and like some other stuff. He's like all in. Like last year, like he didn't play 8th grade or something like that. He didn't even know. Either way. Welcome into Bingham High School on this Friday night. KSL Sports Rewind has you covered from Miners Field. We have a great matchup on hand for you as the Timpview Thunderbirds are set to take on the Bingham Miners. Hello everyone, JT Wistersill and Brian Brown with you on the call. Brian, what has you most excited about this matchup that is absolutely littered with talent?
Well, I think you've got two programs that are coming off of different kinds of seasons last year. Timpview being one of the stalwarts in the state. Bingham coming off a very transitional year with a new head coach, and I think that's a big part of this matchup as well, as you have Coach Donnie Atuaya on the Timpview side of the ball, Coach Eric Jones on the Bingham side of the ball. Two programs, we didn't know how good Bingham was going to be this year. We knew that Timpview was loaded. Two programs who really fought their way to this point, and I'm excited to see what they're able to do on the field today.
We talked about Timpview being loaded. I mean, everyone knew they would be very good for 5A, but how would they handle 6A opponents? Well, pretty good based on the start of the season. Beat Lone Peak 31-10, the reigning 6A champions. Then 43-14 versus Harriman. We saw that Harriman team go against Skyridge last week. And in the second half, they held strong defensively. That Harriman team did, so gave Skyridge a little bit of trouble. So still not a bad win there either. Then Crimson Cliffs beat them 49-14 as well. So 3-0 coming into this. And then when you look at Bingham as well, you get 42-14 over Weber, 48-9 over Bishop Mango from Nevada, as well as 38-28 from last week. They're going to play the national anthem. We're going to take a break to listen into that, and then we will come back on KSL Sports Rewind. Back here at Ron Thorne Stadium, and Brian, right before we left, I just kind of was going over the two teams' records so far on the season. Let's start with Timpview as well. What have you thought about the 2022 Thunderbirds?
Well, it's a loaded team, and you've seen them play up to the expectations early on, going head-to-head with a rival in Lone Peak and setting the tone early for the season, and they've just continued that tone of dominance. And so you expect to see this program in essence, rise from the ashes. This is a proud program with a really proud history, And with the amount of talent that they have on the roster, I expect them to set out early and try and set the tone.
It's going to be fun to see if they're able to do it. Timpview is going to kick it away first as the Miners will get us started. And there's a lot of great views in high school football in Utah, Brian. This one may take the cake.
It's tough to beat that view of the Wasatch Front Mountains, but I tell you what, the view on the field is just as good, JT.
1,000%. See if we'll start it off with a touchback. We will not, as this one's returnable by McBride. Brought down. Actually, that was Fotu who brought it up, and we'll get our first look at the Miners offense.
Yeah, this is a Miners offense under offensive coordinator Fred Fernandez that has had a lot of success so far this season. Our cover zero keys to the game are forcing they need to hit big on their passing plays for big yardage against this Timpview defense, and we'll see if they come out and maybe try to hit a few of those early. And they need to make sure that they get touchdowns, not field goals. If they're able to do that, this will be a very fun and exciting contest.
Dallin Martinez, the senior quarterback, trots out. There's a loaded Thunderbirds defensive line. See how the Miners offensive line handles the task. Martinez going to look to the outside first play. Thunderbirds are there, and that ball is out. That's picked up by Timpview as well. We're going to have a touchdown on the first play of the game, Brian.
Wow. Not even time to settle in, and you see Timpview, that awareness to pick up the ball, the scoop and score, return it all the way for the touchdown. What an incredible start to this game, JT. Just unbelievable.
Unbelievable indeed. Just what a play by Timpview. You know, you try to go with the little receiver screen. Thunderbirds come flying in, jar the ball loose right away, and get a touchdown right off the bat.
Yeah, well, we know Timpview is going to be aggressive against this Bingham offense, and you see it right early that they get the turnover and force the touchdown. That's a great start for Timpview.
The kick is good, and just as quickly as we started, we're going to take a break with the Thunderbirds on top early.
At UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit that makes it easy to access the equity in your home with no fees or closing costs. Just complete an application on your phone or computer, or stop by any branch.
The Thunderbirds with a thunderous start, Brian, and deja vu, we're already kicking it off again, 17 seconds into our game already, and you know, never want to start with negative plays, but how is Bingham going to go about trying to get back and just move past the start?
Yeah, just an unbelievable start to this game, JT, and we talked about it. These are two teams that, you know, we felt like were going to be evenly matched. For Timpview to jump ahead early like that, you're excited to see what the response is going to be from this Bingham Miners football team. This is a team that is well coached under Coach Eric Jones. They're coached to respond to adversity. That's a big factor in high school football, so we'll see what they do with this series now.
Going to be able to return another one is Sudbury. Sudbury up the gut, a nice return. That's one way to shake off some of that bad mojo.
Absolutely. You see the middle return there, advantageous for Bingham. They'll start here on the 30-yard line. The jitters are out now. It's time to roll. So we're going to see if this Bingham offense maybe tries to take a chance vertically, or if they go back to try and establish the run game that's been so good to them so far this year.
Yeah, they have been fantastic running the ball. We know it's a huge strength to Martinez this game as well. And, you know, after you have an errant play to the outside like that, wouldn't be surprised to see them look inside on a few of these. Martinez will drop back. He's got some time in the pocket. Quickly escapes it. Gets to the outside looking for the edge. Martinez with a tough run. What a gain for a first down.
Yeah, great job by Martinez to see the pocket breaking down early. Timpview is going to be aggressive with that rush. There's no doubt about it. And this is a Bingham team that needs to get those explosive plays on this for this offense to get going. And so you see him tuck, make the move, churn those legs for the extra yards. Just a great job of running by him.
Yeah, tough run indeed. Shook off multiple arm tackles, and that wasn't bad protection either. He had about 3 seconds till he decided to take off. Good job by the Thunderbird secondary. Better job by Martinez. We'll pick it up from the 46 here. Martinez gives it on the sweep to the outside. Is Peck. Peck gets around. Peck stumbles before he's pushed out of bounds, but another first down for the Miners.
Well, we talk about this Bingham football team and wanting to run the football. That's a good way to be a little bit more aggressive in your run game. You go with the fly sweep. Peck's a big athletic talent. You get him out to the outside, and you see he can move the chains easily once he gets the ball in his hands.
And one thing we talked about already with this Bingham team is you do have Coach Fernandez calling the plays for you, a veteran play caller who knows how to deal with some of that adversity when you fall behind quickly like that.
Yeah, and he went right back to the run game in essence with the fly sweep there. They're almost 55% success on their run game.
Martinez going to take this one. Great blocking in front of him. He's trying to shake off a tackle, but this one may be coming back.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get our first baptism into the pad and plate platoon there, but it looks like it's going to be a holding penalty against the right tackle there. Not a penalty that I agree with, JT, as an offensive lineman, but that's why they don't pay me the big bucks to be on the field wearing the white cap and the zebra stripes.
Well, we do pay you to take the mic, so why don't you tell us, what did you see there? Were the arms too far on the hands too far on the outside there?
It's one of those situations where if you're locked inside the frame, keep driving forward. Don't force the defender to the ground. We talk about baptism, right, where you, in essence, throw the defender down. If you're able to just keep driving, that pancake's going to happen naturally. We just didn't see it on that play. Trust those legs. Churn that butter.
Churn that butter for those pancakes. I'm going to see a couple of baptisms as well.
More and more soldiers enlisted in that pancake platoon. We love it.
You love to see it. Martinez from the 48 now, 1st and 22. Look to the outside wide receiver screen again. It's Peck who gets it. Peck with another strong game. How about the blocking by these Miners receivers?
Yeah, great job to stay sustained on their blocks, and you see number 64 out there helping to rectify his mistake. They're able to get the big gain, gets him back somewhat on schedule now. They're 2nd and long, but this is a Bingham Miner football team that, under Coach Fernandez and Coach Jones, are well coached and well poised to stay on schedule.
That was right tackle Gabe Wright, the guilty party on the holding penalty, then getting out in space and making up for it.
Love to see that response.
9:40 remaining. Martinez, high snap, goes over his head, gets a great bounce, picks it up, takes a second, just throws it away.
Yeah, very savvy play by Martinez there. You see he has much better protection this time around, has plenty of time to gather the football. Center just needs to calm down, trust the snap, trust his motion. It's one of those things where you take a deep breath, and when you have somebody head up over top of you, it's really, really hard to try and block somebody with one hand, right? So make sure you secure the snap, get that second hand up there, everything will be fine.
3rd and 8 from the 38. Martinez has time, going to try to escape, feeling the pressure, trying to run around, make plays, gets out of a sack, just throws it up, trying to make a play, and it was not picked off, just out of bounds, couldn't get the feet down, but a great job by the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, you see Bingham anticipating the rush there. They've got max protection in with both backs back to protect. Timpview tries to counter, dropping more guys into coverage, forces Martinez to the outside. He's got a wide receiver out there, just not able to set up well and deliver the football. You know, one of those throws where it's just, that's a tough throw to make regardless, and you're happy the Timpview defender goes out of bounds with the ball if you're Bingham.
Looks like we are going to see this. Actually, going to see a personnel change. I thought for a second we were going to see a punt, Brian, but the offense is staying on the field for 4th and 8 from the 38. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we've seen Bingham convert with some explosive plays early. I want to see him take a chance.
Martinez wasting no time. Look over to Peck. Peck's got it, got some room to make up, fighting for it. He's got the first down.
And we see right there, previous play. Great job by Coach Fernandez to see what would happen on the previous play. Knew that Timpview would probably counter and go a different direction, so he calls the middle screen, able to account for what Timpview was going to come with, and they convert the first down. It's a great call, and I love the aggressiveness there from Bingham. Trusting your personnel, JT, that's a big part of what this game is all about.
For sure. Ball on the 29 now. And we came in talking about how much this Miners team likes to run the ball. A lot of their yards early through the air, or just honestly just they've gotten a lot of their yardage not between the tackles, which is what's been impressive so far.
Yeah, and especially with the back like Havea Fotu, who is Fonua, who is typically so good in that area. It's fun to see them do some different things, and you can tell that this coaching staff has really put the work in tonight. I felt like Bingham had a good chance to come in and show some things against a strong Timpview squad that I don't know that they necessarily had a challenge in the last couple weeks, right? And so this is going to be a really fun battle. I think you're going to see a lot of good strategy and everything like that. And so we'll keep looking forward to see what happens.
8:51 remaining.
College wasn't built for me.
It didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Test day's test day. Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
Tests on your time. Courses on your time. Graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of View.
Huge first down for the Miners. Coach Fernandez and Coach Jones off to leave the offense on the field, and they're rewarded for it.
Yeah, it's interesting. In our Cover Zero scouting report, it said that Bingham has an 80% chance of converting on 3rd and 4th downs. We saw that big 4th down conversion there. We'll have to see how that plays out in the game, but so far they're looking very sharp. You can afford to make a play like this on 1st down when you do something like that, JT.
That's the second time, too, we've seen an errant snap there. Great play by Martinez to basically one-hand it. Tried to get to the outside, but coming up and making a great play was Taki.
Yeah, and that's all Timpview. When they're putting a nose tackle head up on the center, it just makes that job difficult. We'll see if Bingham makes an adjustment. We'll see if the center's able to settle down a little bit. But that's a tough assignment for the center blocking someone that big.
2nd and 12 from the 31. Martinez once again has to hop a little for the snap. There's pressure in his face, but they get it to the outside. Arm tackle unable to drag him down, and getting to the outside was J.J. Tua.
Yeah, it's just more and more of that getting outside and trying to get your guys into space. We see a lot of linemen downfield trying to block and get aggressive. It does look like we're going to get another holding penalty. Again, great job by Havea Fotu there. I apologize earlier for getting that mixed up. But he's a phenomenal back. He's a guy that's done this for a long time at this Bingham program. You'd love to see that explosiveness and getting him into space where he can really take advantage of the opportunity. It does look like that's going to bring the ball back quite a bit and negate the 1st down. It's an unfortunate error there for Bingham.
My apologies as well. I didn't even say Fotu was the carrier there or the recipient on that one. Kind of
that's
like
all right.
You mentioned.
I know number 9 anywhere he's at on the field. I've always got eyes on Havea.
Avea in the backfield once again. So it's going to be 2nd and 15 from the 31. This is much more what we thought we'd expect from the Miners. Look at all the hands in the dirt. They'll give it to Fotu. Fotu running hard, but Thunderbirds make the stop.
Yeah, it looks like they're able to get it just short of 1st down there. And a great job there by that Timpview defense to stay stout. This is a defense that is very much anchored up front. You see a lot of big bodies there, and they are able to allow that secondary group to flow. Linebackers, safeties, everything like that. A lot of talent on this Timpview roster, especially defensively.
Absolutely. Another crucial down here. So 3rd and 2 from the 21 with just over 7 remaining. It's been a lot of action in these first couple of minutes. Brian, we'll see how it plays out on 3rd and short. Martinez bobbled it for a moment, gave it to Fotu. Fotu running hard, and he's got it.
Yeah, you see Bingham go with the double tight set, the strong formation. They're trying to spread out that Timpview defense and allow Havea to get into a crease. That's where he's best, and he just keeps the legs going. Once he gets the 1st down, continues to move those chains.
Fotu and Martinez and Peck as well, the trio getting it done here early for the Miners. We wondered how would they respond after the first play going for a Timpview touchdowns. I mean, we're almost halfway through the first quarter here, and we still haven't even seen the Thunderbirds on offense.
Yeah, and that's the downside to an early score like that is you put your defense right back out on the field. Now, if there is a downside to an early score, that is.
Martinez trying to get outside some tackles, makes some nifty moves. He'll be still dropped. Actually got back for a gain. Looked like it was going to be a 3-yard loss. A great play by Martinez.
Yeah, you can see he's a very nifty runner, and you can always see the influence of this system on him, where the passing game has started to develop a lot more for him, but the athleticism and the ability to make defenders miss has always been there.
Looks to be a little bit of confusion at the moment. We do have a play clock here. I love it when we have a play clock at these fields, Brian. Just dipped under 12 seconds. The Miners seem to have things on track now. You see Peck is basically double covered at the top of your screen.
Yeah, you see that safety looking over the top. It'll be interesting to see what Bingham does here as they turn back to the sideline.
Instead, it's a Martinez run up the gut, but he is dragged down from behind.
Yeah, able to get a few yards on the play there, but that's Martinez's game is best on the outside, right? And so that's one of those things where if you have the call to the outside, you just take the safe call. You know that Bingham is efficient on 3rd and 4th down, right? So you're going to trust your offense here that they can get something done, just get a few positive yards, get back to the right spot.
That was Ephraim Muavesi, the backside defensive end who tracked him down. It's a loaded Thunderbirds defensive line. We talked about their defense a couple times now. We'll see if the Thunderbirds can make a play on 3rd and 9 from the 16. Martinez, he's going to run it again, and he's met. What a huge hit by the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, just an absolutely phenomenal tackle there by the Timpview Thunderbird defense. Met early on there by number 54. Looks like Siali Acera, the linebacker.
Yeah.
Boy, that's interesting that he came from the linebacker position. Looked like they have him up on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I think he is a defensive lineman, and I'll say this: he's a guy. He's a top 10 player in the. Actually, I think it's top 15 for 24/7 Sports lineman as well, and he just laid the wood there. Going to see the field goal attempt from the Miners. Trying to get on the board. It's up, and it's good. The long drive yields points for Bingham. They get back into it, but still trail 7-3 with 4:13 to go in our first quarter.
College wasn't built for me.
It didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I want to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
And speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of you.
Seven to 3 our scores. We're going to see the Thunderbirds for the first time on offense. What are the negatives to having to wait so long on offense to get going, Brian?
Well, I think the hard part about it is that you just don't have a rhythm early on, right? And so you're not sure what Bingham's going to come out with on defense. And so you really have to jump in and get things going with this drive. And especially with a 2-quarterback system like Timpview likes to use, it gives you so much more time to think about that and try and figure out, which way to start. On top of that, they're not going to get good field position either.
I see a flag come in at the end of that. I don't know, Brian, I thought that was a clean hit, but maybe it's a holding. They're pointing at the Timpview sideline at the moment.
Yeah, the fact that it was behind the ball seems, there we get the sign that it's a holding penalty against Timpview. So that's going to back the T-Birds up even more.
Lutuali came in and laid the woods for the Thunderbirds. For the Miners, laying the wood on the Thunderbirds. He's out there right now at linebacker. And this is a Timpview team that we're going to see both these quarterbacks today for the Thunderbirds. Getting the start is going to be Helaman. And this is a guy as well who's one of the really more talented throwers of the football in the state. Very young as well, a lot of time to grow. And it's going to be exciting to see him and the rest of the Thunderbirds go to work.
Absolutely, and he's going to have some great targets out there with Tay Nakua, and if that Nakua name sounds familiar, yes, it's that family, so he'll have a lot of targets to work with. But
massive hole for Beckstead, and he breaks through it. This offensive line for Timpview is phenomenal, bookended by 2 high-level Division I tackles, Brian.
Yeah, if you're trying to get to the quarterback, JT, it's a big fun nope right there because Spencer Fonneau is out there protecting the front side, and they've also got a very talented youngster protecting his blind side as well.
Yeah, Junior Elahi, as Beckstead will run it again. Look at that hit. Beckstead, keeping the legs churning. Look how far he drags the defender, Brian.
You see him, he's such a huge back, but he also just keeps those legs churning and going, and he's so hard to bring down. You really have to get low and tackle. Set your aiming point there at the thigh, but it looks like we've got a sideline warning here from the officials against Bingham.
How about Matina as well, coming over from that left guard spot? He was laying the absolute wood up ahead.
Yeah, if you were to design a left guard in the lab, that would be him right there. He's never missed a meal at team dinner, I promise.
Kasuga once again gives it to Beckstead. Beckstead keeping the legs churning. And there's a flag. We'll see what it is, but I'm just blown away right now by the push they're getting up front.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a big part of this Timpview offense is that they want to use that, a balanced offense to keep opponents, on their heels. And then you want to use that tempo so that this Bingham defense can't reset themselves. They have an incredible ability to finish their drives too once they get started. So you see them using tempo early to try and again get across that 50-yard line.
So we had a face mask on Bingham and a holding on Timpview, which will negate the massive run. So we will back it up, but yeah, this Thunderbirds team, you mentioned Fano already. I mean, it's just a group loaded with just road graders.
Well, again, in our Cover Zero notes, this is a team that has a 17.5 points advantage in the first quarter against their opponents. And that's exactly what they're trying to do, is get ahead early.
Miners slow for a minimal gain. That time it's Isaiah Vaya.
Yeah, great job of gang tackling there. Much better job by this Bingham defense of coming in under control, keeping the defender in front of him. You want to try and attack aggressively and bring him down as a unit. You don't want to try and just tap him up high because he is so strong.
Vaya will check to the outside as Beckstead comes back in. Deserved a little bit of a break after carrying defenders for so many yards. 2nd and 8 from the 47. It's been all run so far, and why would they not go there again, Brian, with the success it's yielded so far?
Yeah, and this might be a great opportunity for them to take a shot, too. We'll see what happens here.
Instead, they'll look to the outside. Shaking off the tackle is Vaya, but Vaya has nowhere to go, and he's going to be dropped for a loss of 2 yards as he runs out of bounds.
Yeah, and that's just a great job by Benjamin Latai, who is a stalwart on this Bingham defense, a kid who didn't see a lot of time last year, but the coaching staff is very high. He's an emotional leader for this team, and he is a really talented player, someone that we really haven't had a lot of recruiting eyes on, but a player who I think is a big impact guy for this program.
Kasuga looks like it's going to be 3rd and about 12. Will drop back for the first time today. He's got a clean pocket. He'll throw across the middle, and it's caught. And keeping his feet churning for the first down is Esplin.
Yeah, great job of keeping his feet there. You saw the defender trying to come in hard and lay the wood, not wrapping up. And so that's what you want to coach up if you're this Bingham football team. You want to finish through the player. You're seeing Timpview go with tempo early, though.
Beckstead once again going to take it. And some great blocking by Fano. Beckstead, what a move. He's still in bounds. Stopped on a dime.
Just an incredible move for a back that size to be able to stop, start, and keep going upfield. And you mentioned Fano out there just battling over and over. That's why he's such a highly coveted recruit in the state.
So many linemen stop their legs from moving, and he does not do that. Beckstead was going to cut it back inside and get dragged down, but still about a gain of nothing for Bingham on that one, or the Timpview.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen it early on that Timpview's had a lot more success attacking to the outside, getting their offensive line moving sideline to sideline, trying to spread out that Bingham Miner defense. But once they try to go up the middle, the Miners have been stout, and that's a good sign from Peppa, there, the nose tackle, that he's doing his job.
See a late sub coming on for the Miners. Only had 10 guys on the field. Week 4 of high school football. Still a little miscues here early, Brian.
You're always going to have those in high school football. These are still teenagers that we're dealing with, even though some of them are roughly my size, JT.
Man, I mean, it is incredible, the athletes on the field tonight especially. But like you mentioned, Algebra 2 tests, a lot of stuff piling up. Give it once again to Vaya for a short gain. Be 3rd down again for the Thunderbirds. If you're Bingham right now, if you're a Bingham fan, I'll say, are you concerned at all with how easily the Thunderbirds have marched down the field here?
Yes and no, right? Because I think you've seen them bounce back and stay steady here. But really what you want to see is you want to see some execution on 3rd and 4th down. And really, if you can keep them limited to a field goal here or even force a turnover, that's a big deal for the Miners.
3rd and 5, everything on the table. They'll give it. Solid run up the gut. Great blocking leads to another touchdown for Vaya. Read option success, Brian.
Yeah, and it's just a beautiful play call here and a beautiful job by that Timpview offensive line to get push off the ball. And that's the benefit to what Timpview did early in the drive, right? Where they go with that tempo, you keep this Bingham offense on the field, and you're able to run that simple read option and get the touchdown.
Incredible blocking that entire drive. Beckstead, such a talented back as well, just keeps the legs churning, making so many plays. And Timpview extends the lead back to 7. You're watching KSL Sports Rewind.
At UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit that makes it easy to access the equity in your home with no fees or closing costs.
Simply complete an application on your phone or computer and select the low-rate option you prefer.
And then sit back and enjoy the peace of mind that comes from knowing you have a low-rate line of credit. Ready for whatever life throws at you.
To learn more or start your application, visit uccu.com or stop by any branch.
Miners trailing early. Brian, I totally twist over my words. I think I said going into break it was 10-3. It was 14 now because, of course, that first touchdown.
Yeah, and you see, again, this Timpview football team putting up almost 18 points in the first quarter. And so that's the huge advantage that Bingham has with that early long drive, right? You're limiting the amount of points that they're putting up, but you can see why they're so explosive, JT.
Looks to be another one returnable for Sudbury, who will take it up. Got blockers in front of him, makes a move, gets out, makes another cut. He's going to try to cross it to the opposite line. Sudbury finally brought down, but another huge return for the Miners.
Well, and that's what makes special teams so special right there. It's a team effort. Sudbury does a great job finding his blockers. His guys are getting bodies on bodies, and once it gets too congested there, he does a great job of cutting back against the grain, getting them a few extra yards, and all of a sudden Bingham is threatening here from their own 48-yard line.
Had a couple explosive returns in the game so far. They've had 3 returns just in our first quarter alone. And we'll see what they can do with it from the 48 with just under a minute remaining. Martinez under center. Give it to Fotu, who is dropped.
You can see the pursuit of that Timpview defense. They're coming downhill hard and trying to plug up the middle as best that they can. The fact that Bingham was able to get 2-3 yards there, really, that's a positive play in my mind.
Honga in on the tackle. Miners going to have to run one more play before our first quarter comes to a close. Difference in the game here early really is that turnover, and as well as the Miners having to settle for a field goal. We'll see what this 2nd and 8 brings for them. They'll give it. And once again, the Thunderbirds playing close up to the line and getting the stop. That time, they bring down Sudbury.
Yeah, Sudbury not able to get it inside that crease there, and this Timpview defense just showing the athleticism to close the door early on a run lane that Sudbury thought he had.
And that will close the door on our first quarter. Thunderbirds in front over the Miners, 14-3 on KSL Sports Rewind.
For over 25 years, Salt Lake Running Company has helped people of all ages and levels find the gear they need to start their fitness journey. From a free custom shoe fit analysis to a premium assortment of footwear and workout essentials, SLRC is a top 10 run shop in America. Locally owned, locally operated at 5 locations along the Wasatch Front, SLRC is there to help you gear up and get out. Visit a store near you or shop online at slrc.com.
Back here at Ron Thorne Stadium, JT Wisterseal and Brian Brown with the second quarter set to get underway. And Brian, as we were talking over the break, you were telling me about why it's not the wisest idea to run on this Timpview team, especially on first down.
Yeah, they do a great job on first down, only allowing a 19% success rate for opponents trying to rush against them. So we're going to see a clash of styles here as Bingham, who's been successful on third down.
Pressure gets through. They set up the screen to the outside. It's Fotu trying to get around the edge, and he's got enough for the first down.
When you can see the difference in the styles and why I thought this was going to be a great match, JT, if you try to go head-to-head against Timpview, you're just going to lose. They're so big and strong up front. But if you can get them out into space and try and get some chaos out there, they struggle a little bit, and you see Fotu do exactly that and move the chains for Bingham to keep this drive going.
Screen was perfectly set up. As I was watching, I know I was thinking one Thunderbird breaks through, but then as you see all those guys break through, you go, wait a minute, something's up, and it was a Miners first down. Martinez, give it to Fotu once again. He chucks forward, takes a hit. Looks to be all right. Man, that was, he got rocked. It looked like on the head too, Brian.
Yeah, and you look at it, it's a great job by Fotu to kind of wiggle between there. Bingham going directly at Sarah with a double team, able to get some space, able to create a lane for him to cut back to the inside. It's a great job by that Bingham offensive line against a very tough defender.
See this team once again go under center. They'll give it to Stansberry, trying to find a crease, and finally met up top and brought down.
Yeah, you see Bingham go with a standard power play, trying to get the guard out in front, a little lead, if you will, for Sudbury to try and get him some open space to use that speed. And he kind of misses the hole a little bit there, but able to recorrect and get some positive yards. Again, Bingham still staying on schedule. You love to see that if you're the Miners. Right now, if you're Timpview, though, in third and short, you have to feel pretty confident if they're going to try and run against this stout defense.
Do you feel like that first drive was them trying to kind of out-scheme the Thunderbirds, scripted plays, and now it feels like they're getting back into their bread and butter?
I think a little bit that and a little bit trying to get that defense loosened up, right?
Mm-hmm. Makes a lot of sense. Martinez. Give it to Fotu off the quick handoff, and he'll get another first down.
Yeah, and you can see what Bingham's really settled into. It's those quick hitters, right? Trying to get aggressive and get into this defense before they're set and able to really show their strength. And you're seeing a little bit of hands on hips early on here from this Timpview defense. This is a team that has just outscored opponents and blown them out so early that they're used to kind of garbage time games. So if Bingham can bring this one a little bit closer, that could set up for a really exciting second half for us, JT.
Extremely talented Thunderbirds defensive line. Not a lot of depth behind them. We'll see how they hold up as the game wears on. Martinez in the gun. He's going to run it to the outside. Be dragged down along the sideline on another strong gain.
Yeah, you're seeing this Bingham offensive line settle in as you should up front with an offensive line. This is not a veteran group. It's a group that is still kind of under development, so to speak. But they do a good job with the quarterback, old student body left, to use a Norm Chow term. They do a good job of just getting Martinez out into space and getting him some lead blockers and setting them up for second and short. Or second and middle?
Yeah,
There's not really a term for second and 5, is there?
Yeah. Halfway.
Second and brown bear.
Yeah.
It's average.
Martinez. Give it once again to Fotu. Fotu running hard, nearly gets the end zone. And Brian, I don't know about you. I lost the ball for a second.
I think everybody did, except for our cameraman who was right on top of that. Great job there, Tino. But the one person who didn't lose the ball was Havea Fotu, and he knows exactly what to do with it. You're seeing why I think he's one of the more underrated backs in this state, JT. I can't understand why he doesn't have an offer from a school, but he is so good between those tackles. He's slippery, he's strong, and he has that burst, and you have to expect that maybe Bingham will hand the ball off to him right here to try and get him into pay dirt.
So true, and I'll even throw in vision as well, because that was seen a couple of times, a couple of those extra runs because of his ability to turn it back. Will they go to him again? They will, and he is met. Thunderbirds hold up defensively.
Yeah, see, a great job by that Timpview defense to close on that one. But you see, again, the vision from Fotu, seeing that the hole was occupied, bounce it outside, still able to get a few yards as they're inching closer to that goal line. And it's just, it's like that meme on the internet. Just keep mining, Bingers. Keep mining, Bingham, to get to that gold mine.
J.J. Tua coming down from the safety spot. fill in the hole. 8:46 to go. Second down from the 2.
Old school wing T formation here.
Martinez gives it, and a huge tackle by our guy, Isera. What a play, Brian.
That's one of those Aaron Donald, watch me
Yes.
make something special happen. Great job by Cielo Isera there. He's kind of biding his time, and the second he gets the opportunity to shoot in the backfield, gets the angle on the running back, wraps him up. You can see the speed, the strength, all the things that make him an elite level recruit, but also an elite level high school player. And that's the biggest thing about this level is you want to see those kind of guys that have all those physical traits still make plays at this level.
What a play by Isera, as you talked about, coming through out of nowhere and blowing up the Miners offense. Martinez trying to get to the outside, looked like a holding, but instead gonna be a touch, incomplete. Looks like the ball was dropped.
Yeah, you see Martinez does a good job to get outside as the defender there had beaten the Bingham tackle to the outside. And you're giving me the holding sign there, JT. I'm not going to argue with you on that one because that's an awful lot of jersey to be hanging on to. And again, Bingham, we talked about it early in the broadcast. They're going to get a field goal here. These are the things that they have to turn into touchdowns if they want to stay in this game.
And sometimes games are just won and lost by game changers. That play by Isera, incredible.
That was a great job.
Trying to add to their total. Bingham. It's through. Getting back into it, but still trail. 14-6. Timpview still with the lead on KSL Sports Rewind.
For over 25 years, Salt Lake Running Company has helped people of all ages and levels find the gear they need to start their fitness journey. From a free custom shoe fit analysis to a premium assortment of footwear and workout essentials, SLRC is a top 10 run shop in America. Locally owned, locally operated at 5 locations along the Wasatch Front, SLRC is there to help you gear up and get out. Visit a store near you or shop online at slrc.com.
Back here at Ron Thorne Stadium, home of the Bingham Miners. The Bingham Miners currently trailing 14-6. Timpview had a strong rushing attack earlier. Opportunity for a return, as it will yield a nice result. Is doing a great job following his blockers was Tay Nakua. Nakua, you talked about him earlier, Brian. Comes from a talented lineage, to say the least.
Yeah, anytime you hear the name Nakua, on either side of this divided state, there's someone who has a great memory of a Nakua doing something special.
It's going to once again be Kasuga Helaman, which Kason Villa was the guy who started a lot for them. We saw a lot of 2 quarterbacks earlier, but right now, well, out there, Mountainwoods is all Beckstead is. I could all tumble over my words as Beckstead with another great game.
Yeah, and you're just seeing how good this Timpview offensive line is at sustaining blocks, right? Defenders for Bingham not able to get off of those blocks. They're doing a great job keeping hands inside the frame and churning that butter, as we like to say, right? Trying to get those pancakes.
So Helaman Kasuga gets it for the second straight drive. So Kason Villa will remain on the sideline. It's something we saw these guys go 2 series and then the other take over a lot earlier in the season. But right now, this team's rolling with the talented freshman, 2026, and holding it down. Beckstead breaking free, charging ahead. Another huge gain.
Again, just a little inside misdirection there, and he's able to find a crease. And you see such a big back able to fit in such a tight crease, but then explode through the line and get to the secondary where he's just so hard to bring down.
You have an offensive line that's allowing him not to get touched until he's at least 5 yards downfield, and then a back in Beckstead who breaks all the tackles anyways and gets even a few more. It's a perfect combination.
Yeah, and we still haven't even seen Kasuga take a ball, right?
100%. They'll go to the outside, just out of the outstretched hands of Nakua.
Yeah, that's a tough one at this level, really, to make that one complete. That's a very quick play, action play. You're trying to get the ball out there quick, and you'll see him start to make that throw more and more as the season progresses.
I think the confidence in this Timpview run game as well is try to get a quick game,
Absolutely.
quick play in the passing game, because I'd be shocked if they don't run the ball here, Brian.
Yeah, you would have to go back to what's been working best.
Beckstead gets the corner, charges ahead. Look at the line, the push, getting a few extra yards, but there was a flag. We'll see what the laundry amounts to.
And you're seeing this Bingham front is really suffering from the physicality of Timpview. You know, that they are starting to get hit and hit hard, and you're seeing that with every run, Beckstead continues to get more and more yards. Unfortunately, this one is going to end up going back. Too much grabbing of the jersey on the outside there, JT.
Crazy how things can change. One incomplete pass and a penalty later. Going to be 2nd and 20. Coming up. Would you abandon the run here?
You know, you're still in 2nd down, so I think with the success that Timpview has had, and look, we talked about it earlier, right? Their run game success is through the roof. So I think you stay with it until you absolutely have to make a change.
Looks like instead of 2nd and 20, it's going to be 2nd and about 16. Our first quarter took a very long time. Our second quarter is flying by. We're at 6 minutes now. Kasuga all day in the pocket, finds his man wide open for the first down. It's Jackson, all red.
Yeah, you know what, JT, we're sitting here, stay with the run game, stay with the run game. What does Timpview do? They go right to the passing and a first down. This is why this Timpview offense is so effective. Really, the only thing that stops them is turnovers, and you can see why. They can do it with both the run or the pass game.
They even make up the negative plays. It's incredible. Beckstead making moves. Another first down run.
Yeah, it just totally collapsed that side of the Bingham defense, and Beckstead could have taken at least 30 yards worth of grass and picked a direction to go, able to get the first down nevertheless. And Bingham really needs to stand tough right here as they're inside the 20-yard line.
Fano holding it down at right tackle. And movement up front on the Miners leads to some frustrations. As you know, when you're getting pushed around and beat off the ball, you want to try to get a jump as soon as you quick. So get him with the hard count right there and see, try to get a little jump early, pay the price.
And the big part about this is this Bingham defense is tired, right? They've just gotten hit by explosive play after explosive play. They're thinking about trying to stay, in front of their blocker or whatever it is that they're trying to do, right? They're not thinking about the snap count.
Kasuga, look at the outside. That's an interception. Kasuga throws a pick. Given Chase is all red, but Kasuga as well chases him down. A rare mistake by the talented freshman.
Wow, JT, you see it. Like, he's got so much talent and ability. He's trusting in the throw. Bingham able to just sit right there in the lane, scoop the ball right out of the air, take it the opposite direction. And we said it right before, the only thing that can stop this Timpview offense are turnovers. You see a great job by the Bingham Miner defense to stand tall and get the turnover when they need it the most.
Yeah, that's one Kasuga is going to be kicking himself when he sees that one later, just trying to make a play on the outside as he escapes the pocket and just not enough air under that pass, Brian.
Yeah, you see it, the way the Kasuga's throwing kind of off his back foot, not square on platform. That ball sails on. It's one of those balls that he's a young kid. He'll get better. He'll improve on that one, but it's definitely one that he wishes he could have back for sure.
Wish we had a camera in the booth so everyone could see you drop back.
The old ball coach in me still gets loose a little now and then. We got plenty of space up here. It's great.
Exactly. Looks like we're going to go with the receiver pass. No one is there. Oh, it was caught. He fell down and then was able to get up and catch it. Was Ethan Cook.
Great job by Cook to stay focused and concentrated on the ball, able to reel it in, secure it, goes to the ground, not trying to do more than just secure the catch, and it's a big, big play for this Miner offense.
Yeah, got it over to Sudbury. We've seen the wide receiver screen a few times today. The Miners receivers also been doing a great job blocking, so understandably trying to fight through it. See Cook break open. Sudbury throws it, and then Cook able to get up in time and make an outstanding catch. This game is totally flipped, Brian.
Absolutely, and that's the veteran presence of Freddie Fernandez back there calling plays.
Great call indeed. Martinez gives it to Fotu. And it's going to be a short gain up the gut, but what are the biggest advantages of that quick handoff in a three-point stance as well? What do you like about it?
Well, you can see it. It's this Timpview defense isn't able to see Fotu as he's getting through the line of scrimmage, and he can stay low to the ground and shoot through that crease before they're able to close it, before they're able to move those offensive linemen, and get free of them. And he's able to get 5 yards, but you've got a face mask now that puts you in scoring position. And this is a big, big situation for this Bingham offense. They need to get off the field with a touchdown here.
Struggled to convert on their previous trips in the red zone. We'll see if that will change here. Officials talking things over in the backfield right now, as it looks like we're just waiting for everyone to get set.
Okay, trying to decide which play to accept and how to put down in distance.
1st and 10 from the 20 after the face mask. Fotu trying to get to the outside, and he'll be tracked down by who else, Brian?
I mean, we're seeing a game of stars tonight, right? Havef, what you talked by Ciali Acera, and that's a tough play by Acera because he's a big dude who's been in the middle, but we've seen them move him all over the place. Baby Aaron, can we go that far? I don't know. Maybe a little early to crown him that, but it's been such a great matchup of watching him and Fotu and Beckstead and all these stars coming out to play hard tonight.
I'll say this, for my money, Sarah's a top 2 player in the state. I know it's a lofty claim in terms of 2023 prospects. I'll say that as well.
I'm glad it's your money, not mine.
Yeah.
But you're not wrong with the way he's playing tonight.
Martinez looking all the way to his guy and trying to jump out and make the grab, but unable to haul it in was Peck.
Yeah, and you see that pressure there. Martinez has to get the ball away early and kind of throws it a little bit outside to avoid the Timpview defender coming upfield. Wide receiver not able to adjust in time, but that's okay. Again, you're second down here, so you still have plenty of opportunity if you're Bingham to get the ball in the end zone.
And I got to believe it's 4-down territory as well, Brian.
Yeah, I think so as well, JT. You've got to get a touchdown if you're Bingham to close this gap. More than that, you need to get over the mental hump of it.
100% agree. We saw a jump. We saw the same thing happen on the other end. The Thunderbirds got the Miners, and now Miners turn the tables.
Well, JT, this is just an incredible matchup of coaching staffs, of talent, of everything. I was super excited for this game tonight. Got here super early. You know me, I'm one of those guys who shows up right when I need to be there. I was here way early to get set up for it because I knew this was going to be a great stylistic matchup.
Yes, it is. Martinez gives it. Sudbury gets in. Touchdown, Bingham.
Love everything about it, JT. It's a great call there. You see Havea Fotu out blocking for his backfield mate in Sudbury. First one there to congratulate him. Great job by the Bingham offensive line to seal that play side and allow Sudbury to scoot into the end zone.
Would you be going for 2 here?
And it would be tempting. I probably would go for 2 here.
They'll opt to kick it instead, make it a 1-point game, and it'll become just that. Touchdown Miners leads to a 14-13 game. Timpview still in front. They'll have 3 minutes to score when we come back on KSL Sports Rewind.
At UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit that makes it easy to access the equity in your home with no fees or closing costs. Just complete an application on your phone or computer, or stop by any branch.
Miners making this one a game, 14-13 with 3:09 to go in the half. And Brian, I'll ask you this. Do you think we see Kasuga come back out, or is it Villa time?
That'll be the interesting call, and that's kind of the downside to the two quarterback system, right? Do you stick with Kasuga after a tough mistake, or do you switch to the other guy and just hope that they're both mentally resilient enough to overcome those kinds of things?
Thunderbirds will have a chance for a return as Nakua takes it. Nakua trying to get to the outside, breaks one tackles, running down the sideline. We've seen some great returns today, Brian.
Yeah, we have, and I like to say all the time, special teams are special for a reason, and you see Nakua making a special play there, trying to get Timpview a better starting field position.
And what else we see is Villa. So Kason Villa, our first look at him today. Not a body language expert, but you did see the hand on the hips looked from Kasuga. Usually not a good sign for if you're coming out, and they will turn to Kason Villa, 2024 senior quarterback from Wasatch, transferred in. We talked about this team rotates every 2 drives, so Villa gets it. He's going to run it. Another strong run. Villa able to keep his balance, staying forward. Another huge run.
Yeah, just a tremendous job by him, keeping his balance like you said, but keeping that forward momentum going, able to stretch a 10-yard run into 20, and we talk about it all the time. Explosive plays are so critical in keeping drives going.
We're going to see the tempo stay up as well. Timpview has the momentum. They want to keep it that way, and they can't continue to run it. They will give it to Beckstead this time. No, Beckstead not even touched still. Going down the field. Just great work up front.
Well, you can see Beckstead with the fancy footwork, probably because of his soccer background, and he had those Timpview fans cheering ole, ole, ole as he gets into the teeth of the Bingham defense there. Able to move the chains again. Explosive plays in the run game, JT, are just so huge.
2:21 remaining, ball on the 32 now. Villa keeps it, breaks some tackles, working it forward, chugging along, and just, if not a first down, right on it. Another great run by Villa.
Yeah, and you're seeing that Bingham has defenders trying to make plays, trying to make tackles there, just not able to bring him down. Such a strong runner. It's going to take a team effort from this Bingham defense to try and slow down this Timpview offense, and they're going to have to find a way to get the ball into the air and try and create some turnovers.
I'll say this as well when talking about Helaman. We talked about it earlier, how this team rotates a lot of guys, and one thing they did early on in the season as well was give Helaman 2 drives, and then Villa would come in. So even if he didn't throw the interception, still might have happened. Finally, we'll see the Miners win their battle as Spencer Fano is just dragging a dude 5 yards, 10 yards back from the line.
Yeah, congratulations to number 3 from Bingham. He is officially a soldier in the Pancake Platoon, baptized by Spencer Fano.
Big block by Fanu, and now it's 3rd down. So the first negative run we've seen so far. Not too crowded of a box at the moment, but you see the backers starting to creep in from the outside. Bill is going to try taking it himself, and he will be dragged down. They did not get there, Brian, and we're less than a minute to go as well.
Yeah, you could see it early on that Timpview was set up to run to the right side of the ball there. That's that QB lead that they've been running all game long. Bingham well prepared for it, saw it coming, and it does look like he was able to drive just enough for the first down. I'm very curious about that one, JT.
I'll say this, we have a very bad view as we are behind the play, but at the same time, that did not look like a yardage gain by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, again, it looked like a great job by the Bingham Miner defense. Now they're going to have to hang tight for another 35 seconds.
Villa, pressure from behind, and he'll get dropped. Huge sack by Bingham. Coming in was Carson Sudbury. Well, actually, excuse me, that was Garrison Stewart. There's 2 number 1s on this roster, and Stewart makes the play there.
Yeah, and you got to watch out for number 1 Garrison Stewart. He is a big body and a very aggressive defender. We've seen him make a few plays tonight, not so much in bringing the runner down every time by himself. That time, able to take it to Maryland, get the sack lunch. Crowd kicks in football. That's what it's all about, JT.
So here's a question for you, Brian. You have Villa, who's come in and gotten you all the way down here as well, but just based on from what we've seen, this team prefers, when it comes to their passing game, to roll with their guy in Kasuga. Would you make a swap or stick with Villa?
No, I think you have to stick with Villa in this drive. He's the one that got you into this position. And you are 2nd and long here. So maybe you do think about bringing in Kasuga, but this is the difficulty with the quarterback system, right? It brings you so many options and opportunities, especially when each has their unique skill set. But again, we know that the biggest thing with this Timpview offense, if you can get them to turn the ball over, that's a huge win for you. So I say you stick with the guy who got you here, try and get some more yards on the ground, stick with the things that have been working with you all game. You're still second and long, even though you have 28 seconds. I think they still have, they have one timeout left. So you have time to run a run play, maybe spike it and get another.
Villa will remain in 2nd and 18 from the 29. We'll see the motion come across. Villa, he'll have time. It was just a 3-man rush. He's got a man wide open, and Allred is in for the touchdown. A coverage bust leads to a Thunderbirds touchdown.
It's beautiful protection from the offensive line. Villa able to sit back there all day, waits for the wheel route to open up, and just drops the ball in perfectly. Great job of execution right before the end of the half by this Timpview Thunderbirds offense. Like we've been saying all game, JT, this is a proficient, efficient offense. They fly high.
Yeah, this is the 4th game now in the season. It's the 4th game where this Timpview offense has scored at least 20 points in the first half. And we'll see if they can make it 21. They shall. Thunderbirds with a great late drive, and it was Villa who helped get them into Allred, 21-13. Your score from Ron Thorne Stadium on KSL Sports Rewind.
College wasn't built for me.
It didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Test day's test day. Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of View.
What a first half it's been here at Bingham High School, Brian, and we still got 22 seconds left.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Bingham is able to do with that 22 seconds. This is a very talented special teams group. We've seen Sudbury have some early success. Are they able to get good enough field position to maybe get an opportunity to get another field goal on the board? That's a big nope, JT.
Yes, it is. A booming kick. On the big leg there was Isaac Hudson. Just a little, you see that little kicking celebration?
Yeah,
up there
I like
as well,
that.
yeah.
You get the kickers over there like, hey, man, we got to celebrate every win we can, right? You put something like that deep in the end zone, stretch your stuff.
So 22 seconds left. This is an offense that's not known for its deep passing game, but do you think we're going to see Fred Fernandez's offense take a shot here?
That'll be interesting. It does look like the way that they're set up with 4 wide that they want to do something like that.
Martinez going under center once again. They'll give it to Fotu. Huge hole in front of him. He gets a running start. He's going to have a chance to break free. He cuts it back. He's finally dragged out over the 50. This is a team that still had 3 timeouts going into this drive. They'll burn the first one here, but the prevent defense does not pay off for Timpview.
Well, you see this, the intelligence and the experience of Fred Fernandez there spreads the defense out and makes them think that they're going to throw the ball, the inside handoff to Fotu, and he's able to scoot all the way up to the 49-yard line. It's a great call. This is why you want to see coaches stay at this high school level as long as possible, because it makes these matchups so much better.
Do you think the splits were a little too wide there for Timpview, or do you think they were just willing to concede a run because they didn't think it would go for about 30 yards?
I think that's exactly what it was, and you had a lot of defenders that had been coached up to watch for the pass, keep everything in front of him, and you see Fotu, he's had success once he got in the secondary all game long, and you see him have even more. He's a very explosive back, able to wiggle and weave his way up to the 49-yard line here, and now with 13 and a half seconds left, Bingham is threatening. They still have 2 timeouts as well, JT. That's enough time for at least 2 plays.
We're seeing a fantastic running back battle, as you talked about, Brian, too. Both these guys in Fotu and Beckstead got to be close to 100 yards if they're not there.
This is what makes high school football in this state so elite and so fun to watch. There are so many talented players out here.
13 seconds. Martinez will drop back. He's got time in the pocket. Going over the top. Has his man and Peck wide open. Peck going to get out of bounds with 5 seconds remaining.
Great job by Peck to get out of bounds, but not before getting a lot of that yak. He's hungry out there, so he picks up some big yardage. Now there's 5 seconds left. There could be enough time for Bingham to try and run one play, or you could just go ahead and send the field goal unit out. It does look like Bingham's going to call their last timeout. Second to last timeout. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, he got out of bounds, so they got to keep one more.
But they are going to talk this one over, and I think that's a great job by Coach Eric Jones here.
So the question is, anyway, great call by Coach Jones. Do you have enough time to take an end zone shot, or is this more a really quick slant pass, get you a little more in field goal range, and then you burn that final timeout?
I think the biggest thing is that maybe you try to get more towards the middle of the field and try and get the field goal unit out there, because you do have that timeout, right? And you want to know where your field goal kicker's at. Now, we've seen Bingham kind of go with the safe play all game. That was a big play on the pass right there where they got a huge chunk of yardage. Maybe you're thinking that you're inside the Timpview defense's heads a little bit right here, so you kind of get aggressive right now. Timpview will get the ball coming out into the second half, though, so have to wonder if that's the internal battle that these coaches are going through, on the sideline. That's what makes this job so hard.
The difference in our game up to this point was that fumble on the very first play. Most important thing for the Miners, come away with points right here. Can they do it? Martinez dropping back, taking a lot of time. He's going to look for the end zone, and the deep shot's going to fall incomplete. And I think you could argue there was the splittest of second left. We're going to see if Coach Peck's squad is going to fight for it as well. Brian, how did you see it?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big, this is a huge call right here. We'll have to see what the officials, it looks like they are going to say that there's a few tenth of a second left on the clock. Bingham does take their final timeout here to discuss everything. I'm trying to figure out everything that just happened there, JT. That's a lot going on right now.
We got an animated Thunderbirds as well, as they are not happy about that. And I mean, I watched the ball hit the ground. I had enough time to turn and still see there was time left. But I'll say this, by the time I looked at that clock, there was still 2 zeros, and then the split second hand and run off. Yeah, so that's where we'll see what they end up doing here. This Miners team, as you mentioned, Coach Jones trying to keep his offense on, saying, hey, we got enough time for the field goal. But, that's what you can't have happen there if you're Martinez as well. It's a high lofted pass. Those take a lot of time in the end zone, and they're lucky they're going to get a field goal off here.
Yeah. Bingham gets a break in their favor. If they're able to convert this, they'll get some points, able to close that gap a little bit more. And you have to just breathe a huge sigh of relief if you're that Bingham sideline.
Little more than 30. The kick is good. Moose Bingham is ecstatic somewhere right now. We have a field goal to close out the half. Huge play for the Miners to end it. And Timpview's sideline still seems to be frustrated with the call that they were able to get that off.
Yeah, that's one of those things where I think Timpview understands. They're in a dogfight now. This is a team that really hasn't had to compete as much in the second half in most of their games. And so they're going to fight for every inch, fight for every point. Felt like time had expired by that point in time. And you see that coaching staff is still just heated over there as the officials exit the field. But a great job by this Bingham special teams. Handled the high snap, kicker able to get the ball up and through the uprights right before time officially expires.
This has been an unbelievable game. The first play of the game was a fumble, the second play if you're going off the return, but returned for a touchdown by Timpview. We've seen both teams have so much success running the ball. We've seen 3 quarterbacks play really well basically so far, Brian, and this should be a great second half.
Everything you could hope for in a high school football game, JT. You're seeing players making plays. You're seeing the stars like Cialia Serra step up, Havea Fotu step up, and you're also seeing those kind of unknowns step into the limelight a little bit, as we saw Villa make a huge pass there from the quarterback position. Can't wait to get started on the second half.
The Stars are out at Ron Thorne Stadium, and the sun isn't even down yet. We have the halftime coming up, but don't go anywhere. The second half will be up shortly. Your score, Timpview 21, Bingham 16. Welcome back into Bingham High School. Second half set to get underway in our great matchup between the Bingham Miners and the Timpview Thunderbirds. 21-16 our score, and what is sure to be an action-packed second half. JT Wistersill and Brian Brown still with you on the call. Recapping that action in the first half, got off to a crazy start when on the first play of the game, Timpview jarred the ball loose, and Ephraim Musavai got the fumble recovery, picked it up, returned it to the house for one touchdown. Then we saw Bingham, nice drive, but had to settle for a field goal. Then Timpview, Beckstead just running it, doing a great job, and in the end, it ended up being Vaha who finished it off for the touchdown. Bingham drove again, but another field goal. Then Bingham was able to get a 3-yard touchdown from Sudbury after a costly interception by Timpview. Then we saw Villa come in, stabilize the offense, throw a touchdown with about 20 seconds left in the game, and Bingham was still able to get in field goal range with literally less than a second left on the clock. It was a great first half. What are you expecting to see in the second?
Yeah, it's about finishing drives for this Bingham offense, and you have to find a way to turn the ball over on defense. For Timpview, it's got to make sure you turn the mic on, JT.
I think we caught you in mine a little
You think
bit.
it's my first broadcast, but it's just like recording an episode of Locked On Utes where I've got myself on mute. We'll try not to make this one a tradition, though. As you see, this Bingham defense has to come out and try and create some turnovers. We saw it all first half. This Timpview offense, the only thing that will stop it are turnovers, and in essence itself, right? On offense for Bingham, you've got to try and finish those drives. For Timpview, just keep going.
Beckstead gets it to the outside, and he'll be brought down. Somehow looks like he got back to the line, maybe a 1-yard loss, but it was a great response for a Miners team that has been absolutely decimated by first down runs this game, Brian.
Well, they got a chance to gather together and kind of make some adjustments at halftime, right? The physicality, you don't really see how strong and powerful Beckstead is on film, right? But once he gets up close, that elusiveness, like I said, that soccer background with his feet allows him to be a really incredible athlete, as we see a great move there by, I believe that was Villa.
Villa, tries to shuffle it. Good job by the Miners defense as well. Did not fall for it, staying with him all the way, and ended up making the tackle for the Miners as well. Was Charger Dottie. Bingham, one of the few teams that uses those double numbers as well. You got number ones who play just on offense, number ones that play on defense. It's a little bit jarring. It's going to be 3rd and about 7 here. Nearly got some movement. In fact, they did. We've seen it a couple of times now, some neutral zone infractions.
Yeah, it's with a game this competitive, guys start to get a little obsessed with their assignment, trying to maintain a gap or trying to stay in front of an offensive player, and so you're seeing them be susceptible to that. It's an easy 5-yard pickup there for Timpview on 3rd and long. Turns it into 3rd and short. A lot more options here for that Timpview offense.
Tried to get the jump. Now costs him with the yards. Villa gonna take it up the middle. He'll break 3. Huge hole. Keeps the head charging forward. And there for another. Wow, they still kept it going, Brian. What an incredible job by Villa and the Thunderbirds offensive line, pushing guys downfield. And fittingly, Spencer Fano, the last one to come into the screen as well.
And fitting that Fano is the one who finishes that one off, right? He pancaked the entire pile. So now everybody's a part of his platoon. Congratulations, Spencer Fano. But a great run by Villa. You can see the athleticism. You can see why Timpview wants to go with the 2-quarterback system, right? He is such an elusive and talented runner.
You could drive a truck through that hole. This offensive line continues to be great. Beckstead trying to get to the edge. He will. Keeps his balance, the legs churning, and once again, even when he gets hit, he still goes forward.
Yeah, just a really, really impressive run by him there. We talked about him all game long, getting up, straight up and down field, right? Opening creases so he can get downhill early. That time he takes it to the sideline, able to cut it up against the defense and get more yards. Now they're 2nd and short.
So Villa in here early on, but now Villa drops back again. He's got all day to throw, taking his time. Good coverage by the Miners. Instead, Villa gonna run, and a huge hit made. Good job by the Miners coming up top and making the play. That time it was Lutuali.
Yeah, you talk about it. Timpview did a great job of protecting, allowing Villa all day long, but credit to the Bingham Miner defensive line who kept him in front of them. No breakdown in the cage rush, right? Yeah. And that cage protection, you don't want to let him get outside of the pocket and get their yards running.
3rd and 3. Secondary also was lights out on that previous one. Beckstead met up the middle. He breaks out of it, sticks the ball across. Another first down run. He looked like he was dead to rights, but instead he keeps the legs churning and lives to fight.
You just love that continuation, that motor, right? That drive to get that extra inch. The inches we need are all around us, JT, and he fought for that inch to get the first down.
Can make quite the difference, as we've talked about a couple times on the broadcast now, Brian. And we mentioned it, Villa in right now, but this is something as well where Kasuga, they trade off series. So Kasuga could get the next 2 series. It's something they've done all season long. One thing's for sure, Beckstead is going to be charging forward. He does so again, finally gets brought down from behind by who else for the Miners as well as Lialu has been everywhere.
Well, it's the patience for me, JT, his ability to stay behind his offensive linemen as they continue to churn butter there, chopping those feet, getting those Miners defenders going downhill, and then once he sees that hole, he just hits it and gets upfield fast. Great run there by Beckstead.
Miners continue to go with the tempo, and Villa trying to get to the outside, and a nice play made for Bingham. That time it was Charger, Dottie. Well, actually, that was Cameron Mamilis, who he was involved in a little bit of a pancake earlier, so nice to see him get a little bit, make a nice play as well.
It's one of the things I love about football. It reflects life. We're all going to get pancaked at some point, JT.
Yep.
You love to see guys respond to adversity.
Villa has got time once again, but why would he throw it when he can just run right up the gut? Once again, fighting. It's another first down.
And you're seeing that Timpview offensive line just really lock on those Bingham defenders and allow Villa to make that run. He is an incredible athlete with his legs. You know, it almost makes you wonder why you even look to throw the ball if you're Timpview at this point.
That's what it basically, life is a Timpview receiver right now. It's just waiting because this offensive line is putting in that work with 8:09 left. Beckstead gets it ahead. Hole is massive and touchdown. Beckstead's got it.
And I'm going to point something out, JT. Spencer Fano had 3, maybe 4 Bingham defenders on the turf. It allowed a huge hole, and you see Beckstead just skip into the end zone like it's a walk in the park. He'll never have an easier touchdown in his life. Great job of execution and coming out, fighting hard for this Timpview offense into the second half.
Beckstead gets a score, surprisingly his first of the day, and he is now definitely over 100 yards rushing as well, as Timpview continues their productive day on offense. Only time they didn't score was off the interception. Outside of that, been smooth sailing. 28-16 your score. We'll see if the Miners can respond with 8:03 to go in our third quarter. You're watching KSL Sports Rewind.
Thank you. Salt Lake Running Company is inspiring our community to move with purpose, embrace adventure, and consciously connect to their bodies. Exercise is essential, now more than ever. Take control of the chaos and make time for you. From the gym to the trail, SLRC can help you find the focus to define your finish line. Visit one of our 5 locations along the Wasatch Front or shop online at slrc.com.
Miners trail by 12. Brian, how do they get back into it?
But it's like we talked about, JT. They have to get this offense moving with explosive plays, and they have to finish those drives.
Yep.
We've seen them have success in the passing game, getting those big 15 to 20-yard plays. And so I think it's a mixture of going to what worked in the first half with Havea Fotu on the quick handoffs and mixing in those big pass plays, whether you do it on the screens, what they've had success with, or if you do it, in another way. And you have to think that Coach Freddie Fernandez, having done this for as long as he has, probably has something in his old bag of tricks for this Timpview defense.
Got a touchback as well from Timpview, which means we got another kicker celebration as well. I can only imagine what Moose was doing every time there was a kicker celebration, yeah.
Yeah, we'll tap those toes right here, you and me up here in the booth, to celebrate with those kickers. Kickers are people too. They need to get,
Kickers,
celebrate.
Punters, it all matters.
Yeah, everybody should have a happy
Even
dance.
long snappers.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Long snappers most of all. That's one of the first guys you need to give a hug coming off the field.
Exactly. Martinez once again under center. He fumbled that snap. He was able to get back on top of it, but Brian, when we were talking about what the Miners need to do, it was not fumbling the snap.
Yeah, and that's a big part about, getting on the same page with this offense and staying in positive territory, right? Like, so now you're in 2nd and long, 2nd and 12. You had some good momentum there. Just have to make sure that you're focusing on the task at hand. It's all about eliminating those MAs, those misassignments.
Talked about the task at hand. We'll see this team now switch to shotgun. It's what they predominantly were on that very first drive, but then they got back in to their normal formation under center in that wing tee, as you talked about, Brian. Martinez, he's going to keep it. Pressure gets through in the backfield, and he'll be dragged down from behind.
Not a great start for this Bingham offense, and you're seeing, a very, very early positive momentum for this Timpview defense. Number 44 makes a great play there to get Martinez to the ground and just really putting this Bingham offense into a hole. Ephraim Muavesi, great job by him to make the play.
6:41 remaining, 3rd and long. Bingham, it's going to be Martinez rolling out. Got a little bit of pressure, throws across his body, finds his man. Green grass in front of him for a moment. He's dragged down. Huge gain for the Miners.
Yeah, great job there. Looked like the tight end able to reel in the ball.
Cannon Tennant.
The senior, who is a guy that you one of those guys who stands out on the field when you see him immediately. Yes. Great size, seeing him come across there on the deep route. One of those things, again, we talked about Freddie Fernandez, the experience. You wouldn't expect a tight end of that size to be that deep on a route. Martinez able to set, throw, and a great conversion for Bingham. Talked about it. Again, cover 0, gave us the heads up. This Bingham offense is great on 3rd and 4th down.
Because they don't throw a lot, but when they do, they are effective. Sudbury trying to squeak through. Up the gut, he is brought down after a gain of 6.
Yeah, it's a great gain there for Bingham on 1st down, almost 7 yards on that one. And you can see the thunder and lightning approach that they use with Sudbury and Havea, where Havea is the more power runner on inside the tackles. Sudbury, the changeup, able to get yardage using his speed and agility.
2nd and 4 here, and going back as well, talking about Tennant. I mean, that's a guy who, when you want to be a tight end, most guys, if they're going to be a tight end, it's okay, I want to catch a bunch of passes. He doesn't get to do that. He's got to block and gets rewarded with the rock.
Well, it's a big part of his game, too. He's able to secure, as we see, the right side of that Bingham offensive line. So excited to get to their blocks that they go a little bit early there, but he's done a great job of sealing the edge. We talk about it, and I say we, I mean we, the royal we in the football community. You have to have great tight end play, and a big part of tight end play is blocking. So you want to reward your tight ends and get them those passes every now and then, but they are first and foremost blockers.
Sarah as well letting the Bingham offensive line know about which way they got to go.
Yeah, he's not afraid to speak his mind or show his mind.
Backs it up as well.
For that matter, yeah. And when you play like that, JT, you certainly can.
I mean, look at him, just in the middle of the field, basically. How many defensive linemen get to do that? Basically, just guys you just call Aaron Donalds. Bingham tries to give it, and a quick tackle is made. Thunderbirds swarming. It's going to be 3rd down once again.
Yeah, and again, you see that quick handoff to Fotu that's been so successful. Bingham able to get hats on hats, as a football guy would say, right? And able to get some of those Timpview defenders turned just enough to let Fotu slip in there. 3rd and 6. We'll see how they do. Again, 80% conversion on 3rd and 4th down.
Martinez, it looked like the snap was fumbled. It was. Sometimes it's hard to tell because of how quickly these plays get off, but Martinez lost it.
He did, and you can see, JT, that this Timpview defense is super aggressive up front, trying to disrupt the QB center exchange. Already caused 2 missed plays. Bingham not able to go for it here on 4th down. They're going to go ahead and kick this ball away.
This is the first punt we've seen today also. And we're 4 minutes. We only got 4 minutes left in our 3rd quarter, which is flying by.
Yeah, it's been an incredible game, a lot of fun. And as much as I love special teams, I can live with having our first punt in the 2nd half.
We're going to have a timeout on special teams, something you never want to see. Personnel issues for the Thunderbirds, and they have to take one to get the right guys in their spots. We'll come back in a moment. You're watching KSL Sports Rewind.
For over 25 years, Salt Lake Running Company has helped people of all ages and levels find the gear they need to start their fitness journey. From a free custom shoe fit analysis to a premium assortment of footwear and workout essentials, SLRC is a top 10 run shop in America. Locally owned, locally operated at 5 locations along the Wasatch Front, SLRC is there to help you gear up and get out. Visit a store near you or shop online at slrc.com. For over 25 years, Salt Lake Run.
Back here inside Ron Thorne Stadium, we'll see the Miners punt it away. First punt we've seen by either side today. The fair catch is called for by All Red. They'll down him right at about the 12. And the thing I'm curious about here is who we're going to see coming out at quarterback for this Thunderbirds team.
Yeah, you know, Helaman has been the heralded player early on, but Villa has done such a good job of running this offense. Looks like they are going to go with
Helaman. Yeah,
give him a chance.
Yeah, so Helaman Kasuga gonna come back in. And he was really productive. Just had the one mistake, and that was it. Outside of that, he's been incredible. He doesn't run it as much as Villa, but when he does, he's good at it and is a phenomenal
much quicker athlete.
Yes.
Not quite as strong, but very quick.
Yeah. We're going to see those athleticism right here as he'll take off, able to get to the outside, trying to avoid contact. He'll cut it back inside. A little loosey-goosey with the ball, but he's able to hold on to it.
Exactly. You saw the same thing that I did. Tuck that thing away, get upfield quick. You don't want to try and you definitely do not want to turn the ball over here. Again, we've talked about it all game long. Turnovers are the kiss of death for this Timpview football team. You do not want to give the Miners an easy touchdown or an easy opportunity to get a touchdown.
Only guy I've ever seen do it successfully with the purse like that is LaShawn McCoy, and you are not him. Beckstead gets it up the gut. Once again, barely anyone in front. Look at Fano out ahead, chugging forward. Or excuse me, that's not even Fano. Yeah, great job on that block by Keelan Frankham.
Yeah, Frankham looking like a running back himself out there, sprinting ahead of Beckstead.
Actually,
great job.
Actually, I'll check it one more time. It was actually Junior Allah. So Allah, the phenomenal 2025 as well. I mean, you're that good as a left tackle is just that, and as a sophomore, that's incredible. I mean,
you're telling me he got all of the defender there?
Yeah. Exactly. Beckstead going to get all of the yards right here. He's chugging ahead. Look at the breakaway speed. He's going. There's a flag down, so this may come back. But at the moment, Beckstead's got a touchdown. He explodes.
Well, that's the run you've been expecting from Beckstead all game long, where he just finds his track and sprints to the end zone. Unfortunately, this one's coming back. It is holding on the offense there. And I think even the Timpview offensive line knew they were guilty. Several of the big dogs up front didn't even bother to go downfield. JT, you and I both know that's one of those moments where your guts are turning as an offensive lineman. You absolutely hate it. But if nothing else, you love seeing Beckstead taking that next step, making a great highlight run, even if it does come back.
He should add that to his highlight reel. I mean, the breakaway speed. How many Bingham defenders looked to have an angle on him, and he still got past
He was at the 50-yard lines, and I put my hands up like he was going to run for a touchdown because just watching him all game, you knew how good he was.
The real winners of that play, the offensive lineman who didn't expand the energy, as you talked about by running down, Brian. Give it to Vaya. Vaya gets another hole, goes ahead and see kind of a tackle from the top of the helmet as well. Interesting technique there, but whatever works.
We're seeing Timpview go into the bag a little bit more in terms of play calls and things like that. Big mix-up, or collision, I guess you could say, up front for the Timpview offensive line. This Bingham Miner defense is doing a good job of getting into the pads of this Timpview offensive line. They're just having a hard time getting to the point of attack. We'll have to see how that plays out for the rest of the game.
That time it was Cooper Valencia who got the carry. Kasuga gonna drop back, delivers the ball accurately to Allred. Allred with great hands as well.
Yeah, great job to secure the catch. You're seeing Bingham come with the overload blitz there from the field side. Now they're going quick tempo here, 3rd and short, trying to catch this Bingham defense on their heels. We'll see what happens.
1 minute and 45 remaining. We got 3rd and 1.
Checks the sideline.
Beckstead has rarely been dropped for negative yardage today. Can the Miners finally bring him down here? And he gets just enough for the first. Strong stand by the Miners, but when you only need a yard, that's what Beckstead can get.
Yeah, and you said, like, I was motioning, I thought it was a pass here because that guard was light in their stance, and you can see they make the pull there for the power play, allowing Beckstead to have a lead blocker. We've seen him be great in that situation, right? He does excellent when there's a lead blocker or someone to open up a hole for him. Able to get the first down.
We'll give it again to Beckstead. Beckstead remains patient, waits for his blockers, cuts it back again, and still falls forward for positive gain.
Yeah, and your heart hurts for this Bingham Miner defense right now. They're doing everything they can to try and get him behind the line of scrimmage, trying to get those negative plays, trying to get ahead of the schedule. And it's a great job by the Timpview offensive line to maintain their blocks. Great job by Beckstead to stay patient there in the backfield. As we see the Timpview offense looks over to the sideline, going with the no huddle, slower tempo, so you're not fast, but looking to the sideline for the play.
35 seconds left in our third quarter. Kasuga gives it to Beckstead again. Beckstead dragged down from behind. A phenomenal play is made by the tight end and defensive end, Tenton, excuse me.
Yeah, and he's having a great game there in the trenches. Has been there for a few plays, finally able to sneak through. And you're going to see the end of the third quarter here as both teams head to the sideline. Not as many explosive plays, JT, not as much scoring, but still a really fun, exciting quarter.
28-16. The Miners able to get into the end zone and extend their lead. You see the fours are up. We'll be back in a moment with the fourth quarter on KSL Rewind. Back here at Ron Thorne Stadium, JT Wistersill and Brian Brown have you for the fourth quarter and what has been a dominant display by the Timpview run game. We'll see if Beckstead gets it. He shall. Huge hole ahead. Great pancake block at the top as well. Beckstead heading for the sideline, and he was pushed out of bounds.
Well, he's been a workhorse all game, JT, and you see when he has a downfield hole open up, he is going to be a big play machine. Not able to put it in the end zone, kind of runs out of juice a little bit there as he got pushed out of bounds at about, it looks like the 6 or 7 yard line, but just a phenomenal play on third down. Great execution by this Timpview offense.
Yeah, credit to Gavin Curran as well for giving the pursuit and able to bring him down and save a touchdown, and still got to get it in the end zone, so that could be one of the plays of the game if the Miners are able to hold up, but that is easier said than done against this group of Thunderbirds.
Yeah, you want to see Kasuga hold on to the football here, right? Don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything outlandish. Just make sure you get yards going.
Kasuga gives it to Beckstead. Beckstead waltzes in for the touchdown. Touchdown, Thunderbirds.
JT, I got to figure something out because every single time he scores a touchdown, it's like the running man in motion. You were just doing it. Just walk in the park. Great job by the offensive line to open up the crease, and it's another easy 6 for this Timpview offense.
There are walk-in touchdowns. Then there are ones where you literally can actually walk into the end zone, and that is what we just saw because that's how big the hole was.
Well, we've been lucky to see some great performances, and this is absolutely one of the best of the season so far from Beckstead. I'm so impressed with his play that I'm going to put him up there with Samisi Kinney and some of the other great backs in this state in terms of performance. Amoni at East High. Just a really tremendous job by him today on the ground.
Beckstead and Timpview lead it 35-16 on KSL Sports Rewind. Timpview set to kick it away at Ron Thorne Stadium, home of the Bingham Miners. Bingham's got some work to do, Brian. And this is a team that is very run heavy, and they're going to have to drop back a lot. See if Martinez can get it done. Had a couple explosive returns today. This one goes to Studberry, who's trying to find a gap. He's got one at the moment. Studberry trying to break free. Changes across field, still up, weaving in, weaving out, down the sideline, one man to beat. He'll slam on the brakes again. He can't get in the end zone, but that is an 80-yard return. Studberry and the Miners in business.
Call up Jeremiah Johnson because we got a highlight for Sports Beat Saturday for sure. A phenomenal return by Sudbury there, able to get Bingham into scoring territory. We see a flag on the field, but JT, I don't even care about it at this point. That was an incredible run by Sudbury.
Basically caused me to lose my voice, Brian. 35-16 with 10:58 remaining. So, it's a large margin, but when you score that quickly, and then you get a personal foul on Timpview to top it off as well.
Yeah, just one of those things that you can't have if you're Timpview. The mental breakdowns on the return are one thing, but then to get the personal foul penalty on top of it, you're doing great, Timpview. Just focus on that. Don't get caught up in the bad stuff.
Man, if they can score with still 10 minutes remaining, as we see a Thunderbird on his knee at the moment. Can't tell if he's hurt or not. Looks like he's all right, so we're going to be good to resume it.
Yeah, Bingham coming out in a heavy set here right off the bat.
Under center is Martinez. Gives it to the outside. Fotu dragged down.
Yeah, great job by Fotu to hit the crease, and you can see the speed and the athleticism. But a really impressive tackle by Mote Mounga there, number 20. And just you're seeing how deep and talented this Timpview football team is. We talked about it a lot, JT. High school football in the state of Utah is absolutely incredible. This is a great year to get involved if you haven't already.
It's going to be a fun season for sure. So many talented teams and players across the state. And we'll see if Bingham can get into this one and make it a game. Martinez is going to go in the gun. 3 receivers to the top.
Watch the QB draw.
They'll go to the outside. Fotu, he's got it. Waltzes in off the high step for the touchdown. Miners with the score.
What can you say, JT? That's just great, crafty play calling by this Bingham coaching staff, and even better execution. Get the ball into the hands of your playmakers. Hosea. Whatever. I'm losing my mind because I can't even come up with something good. It was just a great play by Fotu. Great call. You heard me say QB draw up the middle, and then they do a great job of taking advantage of previous tendencies and going with something different.
Cole Frankham on to attempt the PAT, and he will put it through with ease. So 23-35. Bingham hanging on, still hanging around this game. We'll see if they can stop the opposing run game of the Thunderbirds when we come back on KSL Sports Rewind.
College wasn't built for me.
It didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I want to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
And speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of you.
We saw an explosive return spark the Miners. We'll see if the Thunderbirds can get one of their own. It's been a quiet night for Tay Nakua because Beckstead's just dominated.
Yeah, you're seeing the battle being won on special teams by Bingham right now, and uh-oh, we got a flag on the field. Looks like we might have a false start.
Guys get going a little early. You get energetic out there sometimes.
Yeah, that return, that touchdown brought a lot of life back into this Bingham football team. They do so much better when they have good field position, JT. The last couple drives, not able to really capitalize on it. We've seen a lot of field goals, able to punch that one in. That's the kind of momentum that you need if you're Bingham to try and finish this one off here in the fourth quarter. This is your statement game, right? This is your moment. You've been up against Corner Canyon. You've seen the best team in the state, in my opinion. Well, one of the best teams in the state. So you've really got to try and push through now. And for Timpview, it's all about hanging on.
Nakua gets it across the 20, going to try to cut it to the outside. Won't be able to get the edge as he's dragged out of bounds. But they'll get at the 25. But, Ryan, you mentioned it. For this Bingham defense, it's basically one mentality. Do or do not. There is no try.
Yeah, and I just got to shout out number 10 for Bingham. That is, as I'm scrolling through my roster here, Alec Bolter. What a great job on the special teams that we used to have. Well, he was like a missile, just trying to get down there to disrupt it, able to limit Nakua from getting upfield. Great job. I love special teams, JT. That's why I call them special. And I love players who go all out on special teams.
How much did Moose Bingham pay you to say that?
Checks in the mail.
Yeah.
The Venmo's on its way.
Once again, going to be Kasuga. Gets it in the gun, bobbled it for a moment, but still gets it off to Beckstead, who keeps it chugging along. And we talked about how this team needs to approach it mentality-wise, but schematically, how do you stop this rushing attack?
Well, it's hard. You're going to try walk more players down in the box if you're Bingham, but you have to be careful, and that's why I think Kasuga's in the game right now. He is the better thrower, and as you try to put more people inside to limit that run game, he's going to be the danger to throw over the top. And so far, Bingham's done a great job of limiting big plays. This Timpview offense is just so balanced and explosive, though. It's really hard to stop.
Beckstead gets it through, going to be dropped right at the line. Does have the first, it appears. But once again, that's just when you have an offensive line that blocks this well and the back with that kind of vision to cut it back and find that lane, it's just hard to stop.
It is, but we've seen Beckstead get a lot of carries tonight. You're starting to see him 2 or 3 defenders instead of the 4 or 5 that it was previously, right?
Yeah, he's checking out as well.
Yeah, he's had a great night, deserves some rest. You're going to have to be careful now if you're Bingham, because this is an opportunity for you to capitalize with him out of the game. Be aggressive, not careful, be aggressive.
Give once again, hole just as big, breaking 3 for another first down run is Vaya.
And you're seeing a little bit of the old Norm Chow philosophy there, where you get him leaning one way and then call him backwards, get a more explosive back in there, a big positive gain, that explosive play there from Timpview on offense.
Spencer Fano, we've talked about him as well. Aliyah Kala Nai Valu, the left tackle for this team. Looking as well at Merck Matina. This offensive line has been lights out tonight, and they continue to make work, charging down the field. Finally, the Miners break through, and they're going to have a negative run.
And you can hear the cheer from this Bingham Miner crowd as they're trying to pump up their team. That's a huge, huge stop for this defense, especially this late in the game, to be able to get a negative run play. And almost on cue, Beckstead comes back into the game for Timpview.
Also want to give a shout out to Veni Tokalu, as well as MJ Toikolo. But
people don't know, JT, you're not a Utah native. These Polynesian names are new for you. You're doing great, man.
I appreciate it. This offensive line's been outstanding. Wanted to mention all of them. Vuga going to drop back, and Kasuga with a beautiful delivery on that ball gets just short of the first down to his intended receiver in Nakua.
Yeah, and just a phenomenal catch, and you can see why Timpview wants to go with Kasuga back there at quarterback. Puts it right on the money. Just a fantastic throw, great reception by Nakua, and now they're 3rd and short.
And one thing that'll be interesting to see is if something happens and the Thunderbirds do get the ball back. We've been rotating on this 2 series for each quarterback. It would be Villa's turn again, so it'll be interesting to see who comes out, because you wonder how long this team can keep this up, Brian.
Uh-oh. Not long, JT, says Mr. Official.
with the false start there, but if you are the Timpview coaching staff, and Coach Oto, or excuse me, if you are this, Otuaya, if you are this Timpview coaching staff, how long are you doing 2 quarterbacks?
Well, I mean, that's the $64,000 question, to make a very old reference, right? You have to figure out which one of these guys steps up, because at some point, as these games get more competitive, one of those guys is going to have to be the leader and take the reins. This may be the defining moment. Maybe we see Helam and Kasuga take those reins right now.
3rd and 7, opportunity for Tsuga. He'll loft it up over the top. Beautiful placement on the ball. Miners collide. That's going to be a touchdown for Nakua.
Wow.
You're speechless.
Wow. We're talking about Helam and Kasuga. He stands back there, rips one down the field. Beautiful throw on platform. Tight window right into Nakua's hands. That's the kind of connection that people pay hundreds of dollars to see on Saturday and Sunday. We get it here on KSL Sports Rewind for free. What a deal, what a bargain, what a tremendous play by Kasuga and Nakua. And as always, the offensive line does a great job and gets no shout out.
Hey, I attempted to say all their names. I don't know if I said them all accurately, but either way, Spencer Fano and co, phenomenal night. That's going to be, okay, there's still 7 minutes left, but very well could be the nail in the coffin. And that's something that you talked about, Kasuga. When this team is going into a game late in the season, if maybe they're trailing, it's the kind of moment you look to when you go, which of my quarterbacks I want to roll with here.
Well, and the strength of Villa is his legs, right? That's something that you can put into play in a lot of different ways. We've seen Beckstead be very elite in what he does, but you have to have that big play ability on offense, and Kasuga really establishing himself. Had the tough interception early, shakes it off, stands back there, makes a big throw, and now, like you said, Timpview up 42-23 here with 7 minutes left, really making it tough for Bingham High.
Miners have their work cut out for them on KSL Sports Rewind.
The company has helped people of all ages and levels find the gear they need to start their fitness journey. From a free custom shoe fit analysis to a premium assortment of footwear and workout essentials, SLRC is a top 10 run shop in America. Locally owned, locally operated at 5 locations along the Wasatch Front, SLRC is there to help you gear up and get out. Visit a store near you or shop online at slrc.com.
Thunderbirds set for the kickoff. Saw a little bit of extra celebration from Nakua, so that's why we see the ball at the 25 currently, but hard not to celebrate when you make a play like that, Brian, because I should have mentioned this way earlier, but hashtag rewind top 5 after that one.
Yeah, that's a da-da-da moment, and we've had a couple from this game, right? The Sudbury return and then that throw from Kasuga to Nakua. But again, we talk about it. You got to celebrate your wins. I got no problem with that. I'm sure that Coach Atawaya is going to have a conversation with the boys. But look, we got to let kids have fun at some point in time. And look, Timpview has done a great job of staying with it, of chopping wood, as people like to say, right up until that.
And this kick is going to sail out of bounds. One thing I think is really fun this Timpview team does is a couple of the players are on special teams, so they remain. But as a unit, everyone else runs on, locked arms together, just comes on the field. I think it's something really cool this team does, and intimidating as well.
Yeah, a program that's based in Utah County. That's an old Bronco Mendenhall staple where they would have the defense sprint on the field out of a stance. And I know Utah fans out there will be booing that, but look, it's a fun way. It's an easy way to get your mentality right. Unfortunately, it looks like Bingham's going to make Timpview re-kick this one as it went out of bounds rather than take the ball at the 35.
And there was a false start as well. That's the second consecutive kickoff we've seen a false start here in week 4.
Well, they're going to be kicking from the 20-yard line. So, look, you're almost already at the 35 anyways. I think it's a right choice by Coach Jones and his Miner crew, and especially with how good they've been on special teams.
Yeah, the return game, phenomenal.
We talk about not making mental mistakes late in games, right? Yeah. And I was okay with the celebration penalty, but now, we've got penalty on penalty. These are things that Timpview really needs to keep an eye on throughout the season and correct.
100%.
And that's why you play games early on, right? We're not out to be perfect in the first game of the season. That's a college football thing where you have to go undefeated.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of time to get ready for the state tournament. later on in late October. Swed tried to make a catch on it, surprisingly. Thought they'd let Sudbury get to it. But instead, that one looked to have been brought afield by McBride, and it could have been Settler as well. 2 number 2s on this roster. But Brian, I'm going to say this. I mean, you got Sudbury. You think about the phenomenal return he had, and you decide to try to take that one. And I know it's coming at you, but it's still an interesting decision.
Yeah, I think that's probably why Timpview goes with the squib on that one, right?
Yeah.
Try and keep the ball out of Sudbury's hands. You've seen him be explosive. And right now, I think Timpview's grasping a little bit to try and get control on special teams. They just don't look as prepared as Bingham does. And that's part of, this veteran coaching staff. First year at Bingham, but this is a group that's been together. Coach Fernandez, Coach Jones been doing this for a long time at Roy High School, bringing that brand of, Northern Utah football to the Valley.
Sudbury gets an opportunity in the run game here and is dragged down. We see another flag. Seen a lot of laundry on the field tonight, Brian.
Yeah, I don't know how much I love that call necessarily. That looked like just a great pancake to me by number 62 for Bingham. But Sudbury with the incredible killer cut back there to try and get a few extra yards. Unfortunately, the penalty will back this Bingham offense up quite substantially to the 35-yard line.
Pohua, the guilty party for the Miners. And this is tough because obviously this is a team that likes to run the ball, and when you're trying to make up a 19-point deficit in 7 minutes, not something you can really afford to do.
Well, you've got to be able to get some yards on first down, and now you're putting yourself in a hole. And Martinez's strength is with his legs, not so much standing back in the pocket and trying to find the seams. They like to be opportunistic with their pass game.
Martinez will drop back here. He's got time. Going to try to escape until he was dragged down, and there was a face mask there. So an unfortunate play, and he doesn't know it as well, unfortunately, as he's doing the
And unfortunately, we're going to get another flag here for celebration or taunting, I guess, more importantly here on the Timpview defense. Mote Muunga, one of the ones on that tackle, but I think he's also going to get flagged for the taunting.
With the swing.
So you're going to get the face mask and the 15-yard taunting penalty on top of that. I think that's going to be a 30-yard gain for this Bingham offense. That's right where they need to be there at looks like the 38-yard line?
Yeah. And Monga's been outstanding, as is the rest of this Timpview defensive line. They've been outstanding all night. So unfortunate you see him make a play there first and get the penalty, and then not realize as well that that's not the right kind of swim move you want to see on the football field.
Well, and look, again, we talk about it. I'm excited for Mounga, but the problem is that what he doesn't understand is that there are 2 penalties already flags already for a face mask.
Well, he get flagged for that regardless.
Yeah.
As well, too. So that's what makes it interesting.
But it's a point in the game where we absolutely cannot afford that. If you're Timpview, you're on top here. Just keep rolling, keep executing. And this is one of the things we're seeing a young team in Timpview learning how to win in a game where there's still a lot of competition late in the game.
Talked about how good Isera has been all game as well. Look at Hanuga, the night as he's had along the defensive line. Jacob Rust, everyone for this Thunderbirds team. You can say such good things about this defense. They've given up 23 points. One of those was a huge returns early on as well. How about those big stands in the red zone? And of course, the big early touchdown off that fumble recovery.
Yeah, that was one of our cover zero keys to the game, right, is that Bingham had to put the ball in the end zone, and they've walked away with field goals. That's what allows that Timpview to be in the place, and that's what allows Siali Isera to make that play, and you see him stunting on a little bit. There you go, baby Donald.
And that's how you do it, and you say celebrate. We have a fan on the field right now actually in the end zone, but he's so far out of the play, I actually think we'll be able to keep it going at the moment.
I don't think the officials have even noticed that one as he escapes into the southeast side
too.
Trees. Run, young man, run. We see you.
The rare on-field runner who never gets caught, but still had his name mentioned on the broadcast. Martinez going to have to let it rip, go to the opposite sideline. And a great pass breakup on the opposite edge. But we see another flag, Brian. What was this one?
This one's going to be roughing the passer, and that one was a pretty obvious penalty against Timpview. I mean, Martinez had let go of the ball clearly, was in a defenseless position, and the defender just too aggressive at that point of attack. It's, again, one of those plays that you wish you could do over.
Phenomenal play and coverage on the other side, but as you mentioned, all for naught. Brian, I know, well, first of all, it's week 4, so we're getting a little bit more into the high school season here, and I know you're up right now as well, but I mean, it's just some interesting things going on we're seeing from Timpview right now. Like, you're going to be excited for these guys. They're making great plays too, but if you're the coaches for the Thunderbirds, you're going to want them to be more disciplined going forward. I mean,
you don't like it in game right now for Coach Atawaya, but there are so many coaching points into next week, right?
Yeah.
This is a team that's had so much success. They haven't been challenged late in games, and they're allowing an opportunity for Bingham to get back in it. There's 5.5 minutes left, JT. This one's not over.
Yeah, you mentioned Coach Otuaya as well. Had a phenomenal year with this team to start it off. Has done a great job. We're seeing some trickery get underway. This is going to be all set up a massive wide receiver screen that goes to the outside. Miners, they got the touchdown? Diving, extending. He was in for the score. Huge touchdown for Bingham and Maddox Pack.
We talked about Freddie Fernandez having tricks in the bag. He reached in there deep, pulled that one out. It was 1, 2, 3 flea flickers, throws to the wide receiver with the screen, and Ford takes it all the way to the house. The Miners find pay dirt finally on a drive.
Coach Fernandez was drawing that one up. He looked like Charlie Day from It's Sunny in Philadelphia, just trying to connect everything.
Pepe Sylvia move right there.
Pepe Sylvia. Miners with some life. 5:21 to go in our fourth quarter. 42-13. We got a good one brewing in Bingham.
At UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit that makes it easy to access the equity in your home with no fees or closing costs. Just complete an application on your phone or computer, or stop by any branch.
Miners making this one interesting late. It's also going to be interesting to see if we see Villa again, because if we're going out by the 2-series thing we've done all night long, and it would be Villa's turn to come out for the Thunderbirds, see the onside unit off, and instead it'll just be a little pooch kick, goes over the top, and is caught by the Thunderbirds. Would you have gone for the more traditional onside?
You know, I think with 5 minutes left, if I'm Bingham, I'm still confident in my ability. You just have to get one stop here, JT, and we're going to find out who Timpview sends out to play quarterback
It will be Villa.
now.
It's going to be Villa.
So at this point in time, you think that Timpview is going to try and control the ball on the ground. We did see Bingham get the one negative play in the drive previous. You're not as worried about Villa throwing the ball, right? And maybe that makes him more susceptible to a turnover. That's the only time that Timpview's really struggled on offense is when they've turned the ball over.
So Case and Villa going to give it to Beckstead, who Beckstead collided with his quarterback, but still able to get a positive gain.
Yeah, and as good as the two-quarterback system has been, that's one of those downsides to it, right? You're getting two different quarterbacks who hand the ball off in two different places. It's tough to find that mesh back there late in games.
Mm-hmm. And something we can go back to as well officially, as we have seen this team stick to the 2-series quarterback thing they've done from the start. So even though Kasuga threw the interception, he would have stayed. He would have been pulled out of the game regardless if they had scored on that drive. That's what they've stuck with.
Yeah, and early in the year, as you're trying to get somebody developed, I like that they're staying with that system. But you need to see someone step forward. Is this going to be Villa's chance to do so?
2nd and 8, 4:30. Villa's going to run it himself and drag down from behind. Huge play by the Miners.
Yeah, just a great job there by, I think that's Latai there, number 15, if I'm not mistaken. You know, the senior that we talked about
Latai.
Early on in the game. He's the kind of guy where he's a strong leader. He's an anchor to this defense, and you see him make a critical play late in this game to keep Timpview in 3rd and long, giving Bingham a chance.
This is Timpview's opportunity where, look, under 4 minutes now. We'll see if they can hold on to it, but their second win against what a lot of people going into the season had as a top 10 team in 6A as well. It's just phenomenal, the program that Coach Donnie Otuai is building. And that's going to be a play clock expiration, so we'll back that one up. But timeout was snuck in first, and we'll sneak one in as well. So Thunderbirds still going to do it 3rd and 7 on KSL Sports Rewind when we return.
College wasn't built for me.
I didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Test day's test day. Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of View.
Third and 7 for the Thunderbirds. Brian Brown, do you consider throwing the ball here?
You know what? Like, if I'm Timpview right now, you got to get a first down because that essentially puts this game out of reach with 3:42 left. You have to control the football. And so I think you do look at throwing the ball here on third down. If you're Bingham, that's opportunity, right? You want to try and create a turnover. It's the one turnover they've gotten so far this game. So big play here for sure.
Kason Villa, the transfer from Wasatch with a chance. He'll try to make it the play with his legs, and he's got it. A huge run from Villa, and he's still on his feet. Bingham trying to jar the ball out, but the ball security after the huge run pays off. First down, Thunderbirds.
Just a tremendous effort by Villa to get the first down, to keep the yards going, and to convert that. We talked about how critical it was, and you can just feel the life sink out of that Bingham defense a little bit there. As you said, trying to rip the ball away, did a great job of securing it. Excellent job by Villa there.
Villain's got running back vision in the hole as well. He used the official basically to hide behind even. Just crafty running. Miners faithful still trying to rally their troops as we are a little over 3 minutes remaining.
Timpview milking that clock right now.
Beckstead charging forward, but dropped. Gain of about half a yard.
And it's not the worst result if you're Timpview, right? You know that you're in a 3-down territory here. You just want to keep that clock moving, and now Bingham takes a timeout to try and slow things down a little bit. But you're seeing Beckstead just all game long be so strong, and just kind of wearing down a little bit towards the end. Again, this is the first game that Timpview's really had to go all 4 quarters.
Very true. They've reached 40 points in all their games, but a lot of those other ones were blowouts. They weren't really competitive by this point. This is the first true one that was, and they've had to sweat a little bit. And I mean, one thing this team will look back on as well as we saw the Miners' success scoring the ball is all those unnecessary roughness penalties and after just
45 yards they're giving up to let Bingham get back in this game. And that's, look, regardless if you get out of this with a win or not, that's not how you want to handle these situations if you're Timpview, right? You want to continue to build and climb that ladder. You're one of the best teams on the state, and you want to stay on that track. Don't let the little stuff pick you off.
Miners student section still trying to bring the energy and
you
rally
mentioned
their
the
team.
mascot earlier, JT. I just saw that. That is one impressive Miner.
It's the quickest way to get a six-pack is just to put one on, right?
Yeah, The Rock wishes that he could look that big.
Yeah. All natural. 2:49 to go. 42-30. Villa's going to take it. Huge pancake block by Junior Alai. And a nice run by Villa.
You can see why he's such an impressive prospect, right? Just crumples the defender over top of him. That's another soldier enlisted in the pancake platoon there for Timpview.
Bingham is going to take a break. And, yeah, we've just talked about this Timpview offensive line all night. They have done such a phenomenal job, Brian. It has been impressive to watch them go to work. We're going to take our final break of the night on KSL Sports Rewind.
College wasn't built for me.
I didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I want to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
And speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of View.
Welcome back to the KSL Rewind broadcast of Timpview Bingham here at Ron Thorne Stadium as we welcome back this tremendous Timpview offensive line. Spencer Fanu, Alai Kaluhi Valu, Merrick Matina, Lawyer Atuaya, a great job by this unit as they get another huge hole there, and we see Villa looks like he's going to find pay dirt here for Timpview in these closing minutes. A tremendous job. JT, we had this planned. We're going to come back in, do a nice little celebration of the Timpview offensive line, and they did an even better job of doing it by opening a hole and letting them score a touchdown.
The defense parted like the Red Sea, and Villa ran through it. A phenomenal run by the explosive athlete and quarterback. This Timpview team is loaded, and they're now up to 48 points as well. That's now, actually, they had 49, so this will tie it after the PAT. But, I mean, we said this has been a competitive game all throughout, and they're going to match their season high. Just proves what an offensive performance against a really good Bingham defense, too.
Yeah, this was a great effort by this Bingham defense, but we talked about it again. Cover zero stats giving us the edge that you have to force Timpview into turnovers. The one time Bingham able to do that, they were able to convert some points. But again, this offense is just so powerful, so strong, and that thriller by Villa in the end here, JT, to cap off the effort for Timpview, that's how you finish a game.
And one thing that's interesting as well, Brian, is you just talked about converting and finishing. If you look back at this game, the Miners left points on the board. They couldn't get into the end zone, and of course, just the early turnover. I mean, really, if those are turned into touchdowns early on and they don't surrender that ball, they at least get in field goal range and get that through. So this is a very different ball game if they could just convert on a few plays. Bingham, this was not a 19-point game.
Mm-hmm. Well, we talked about it in the pregame, right? Bingham was excellent on 3rd and 4th down in conversions. Not as strong tonight, right? Needed to put touchdowns on the board instead of field goals. Early on, we saw they weren't able to get those conversions. And you mentioned it, the very first play of the game, Timpview starts it off with a touchdown. That's a tough thing to respond from. Nevertheless, Bingham did just that, stayed in the fight until late here in the 4th quarter. And look, you know, when it's Sudbury back there trying to catch a ball, nothing is out of reach for that young man.
Go with the squib kick, trying to eliminate that explosive Miners return game, and they shall. What a phenomenal tackle. Doing a great job coming down and laying the wood was Marcus Stevenson.
Yeah, you see Carson Stetler trying to field the ball there, and Carson Sudbury trying to get in front of him, giving a good block, but a great job there by Timpview on the coverage team. That's the kind of improvement that you want to see throughout the game, right?
And what do you think this Timpview team is capable of going forward?
Well, you know, I think the biggest question for them right now is depth. You know, we saw them get a little fatigued towards the end of the game here, start to, you know, make some mistakes, some small missed assignments, little here or there. But as far as 11 on 11, they're as good as any team in this state, you know, and they have so much talent on that offensive line. And we've seen some really great offensive lines throughout the season.
And as you mentioned, as good as any team in the state, regardless of classification. Fotu gets the check down, skirts along the sideline, and then gets out before Isera shoves him out.
Yeah, that would be Siali Isera, defensive tackle, shoveling him out at the 50-yard line as he's playing all over the field right now. Just a really impressive athlete. And, you know, a little extra words there for Fotu. I think they probably know each other, so just fun conversation and banter there from the two of them. That's the really neat thing about high school football in this state. So many of these guys know each other, and so these games are really fun for them as they get really competitive.
The respect they have for each other as well. And you just mentioned Isera, defensive lineman, linebacker, defensive end, dropping into coverage right now. And we'll see if he can come up and make a tackle here, but instead will be Peck, who just gets the short route and goes out of bounds. And what do you think about this Miners team as well? Showed us a lot tonight, and, you know, Region 3 is a gauntlet, but how do you feel like they stack up in it?
Well, this is a great effort. You're going to see that this team maybe doesn't have the manpower across the board that some of the schools have, but it's a tight region in Region 3, right? They're going to play Mountain Ridge, Riverton, all those schools, and so they're going to be competitive. You know, and this is, in my opinion, one of the top 10 teams in the state in Bingham because of what they have in terms of their competitiveness in the coaching staff, and really just what like we're seeing from Martinez right here, where there's just no quit in this Miner offense.
Martinez once again getting out of bounds, and Brian, I don't know about you, but I can't get over Isera still spying him basically.
Yeah, and you have to, it's an incredible athletic achievement by Isera to be back there basically playing rover middle linebacker, right?
He was there.
But it's also allowing Bingham to get a lot of yardage here right now. As up front, they're doing a great job, and saw another pancake there, another member of the pancake platoon, so to speak, Fotu Lavaki able to get the pancake on the pass protection, which, hey, double bonus there.
Exactly. Martinez, a phenomenal effort to break some tackles as well. A strong gain. He'll drop back again. He's got all day to throw.
All day.
And he'll get it just a little too high for his intended target.
Yeah, had the target wide open over there. You can see him getting a little bit antsy as he gets outside the pocket, just trying to zoom that one in there to Stetler. But again, all day to throw back there for Martinez. You don't want to give him that kind of time. And look, I know the game is probably out of reach here, but what you're allowing him to do, if you're Bingham, is get those reps in, right? Get that timing down, get that accuracy down. Live reps, game reps are so important, especially for young quarterbacks like Martinez and young inexperienced more than anything.
This Bingham team has another tough test next week as they'll go on to play American Fork. What a phenomenal rush. How about the opposite pancake there?
Yeah.
Bulldozing right through. A phenomenal rush. This Timpview defensive line getting after it here late in the fourth. Couldn't get the sack, but applying phenomenal
even Muavesi there on the bull rush just collapses the tackle, able to get Martinez in the grasp. He flips the ball to an offensive player for an incompletion, which, given how intense the pursuit was from Muavesi, really incredible play by Martinez. But that fierce Timpview rush finally putting the pressure on.
Muavesi almost ended the night with a sack. He got it going as he was the one who recovered the fumble and returned it for a touchdown. He'll come again, breaks through once again. Martinez wisely gets out of the pocket, running, buying time, makes the throw, and it's caught. Nice catch by Peck.
Yeah, finds his favorite receiver, and Peck's kind of been his go-to guy, right, as they string it out across the field, and just a great job by Martinez to avoid the rush. Again, Muavesi just absolutely phenomenal out there right now.
Yeah, Coach Fernandez and Coach Peck as well, calling the spike. They get it in time, so they'll finally stop it as well. But we just talking about Bingham once again, is they play American Fork. You've had a chance to see American Fork. What do you think about that matchup next week?
Well, it's another intriguing matchup, right? Because American Fork doing the QB system with Champion Edwards and I believe it's Luke Jackson. I apologize if I get that one wrong. I'm only good for one game a week, JT.
How dare you get names wrong,
I
Brian?
know,
How dare you?
I know. But again, Hunter Clegg is going to be the beast of the American Fork defense that Bingham's going to have to prepare for. A very different player than a Sarah, for example. And so they'll have their hands full for sure. But I think preparing for this Timpview 2 QB system should give them some advantages.
Fotu with a strong run forward for a couple yards, and talked about what a great game it's going to be. Bingham, American Fork. Brian, how about this one? Skyridge and Timpview. That is going to be a phenomenal battle, especially in our favorite place, the trenches.
Yeah, absolutely. And those are two of the best teams. You and I have had the privilege of seeing a lot of great teams, seeing Skyridge play twice now. I have to give the edge to the Falcons early on in that one. But this Timpview team, you can see the talent is there, the aggression is there. Is the dedication, the focus this week going to match everything that they have on the roster? We're going to find out next week.
How about Tassilia Kana versus Spencer Fano? Woof!
Well, and this Skyridge defense against this Timpview run game, right? I feel like that's two worlds colliding in and of itself. We've seen the Falcons be so strong at the point of attack, haven't allowed anything up the middle. So it's going to be a fascinating battle. You're going to, if you're Timpview, you're going to want to get Fano moving around and get him, on every single hat with, Tassili and Westover and all the other guys there from that Skyridge front. It'll be really impressive. And then Smith Snowden too, a consistent game breaker at corner. You have to wonder if that matchup of Helam Kasuga, Nakua, and Smith Snowden will be a really intriguing fight too.
Going to be a lot of fun to see how it all plays out. 3rd and 7, but first, some laundry.
Listen, it had just been too long since we'd heard from the officials, so I'm happy that they...
Just got to make the presence felt.
Yeah, and listen, shout out, this has been a great crew. You and I will always nitpick a little bit with the offensive line stuff. As former offensive linemen, holding is more of a mentality than it is a penalty to us. You just want to find ways to hold safely.
And what is football without official criticism?
Yeah, exactly. Not American, I'll tell you that much.
It brings everyone together, criticizing the reps. Martinez, beautiful delivery down the sideline, and it is caught.
That's Sudbury with a toe tapper. That's a great job. Secures the ball, 2 feet in bounds, able to get the ball inside the 10-yard line here. And look, it's going to be a garbage time touchdown for most, and the only people who might be upset at this are the odds makers in Vegas. I'm just kidding. I hope there's nobody out there putting odds on high school football games other than Moose Bingham.
Oh.
But that's all for fun with Moose. But you like seeing Bingham be efficient in this situation.
First from the 6, Martinez got pressure in his face. He's trying to escape out of it, keeps his feet up, throws it across his body, and it's batted down.
Yeah, I have no idea how Martinez avoided that rush from Timpview. Multiple defenders coming after him, including number 8 there for Timpview, whose name we haven't called a lot tonight, but he's been around the football very often. Jacob Rust there. Great job by him. He's been playing on the interior of that defense. And just Martinez commits 2 cardinal sins, right? Throwing across your body and then throwing high into the end zone. Lucky that they were able to get away with that one. One of those things that the coaches will work on him going into next week.
Yeah, we have not said Martinez and throw the ball away a lot tonight. In general, actually, we haven't really said it in regards to Timpview's quarterbacks as well. Martinez, and that's another whistle. One thing I want to talk about, though, Brian, is we talked about that Skyridge-Timpview matchup next week. You look at McKay Hillstead, obviously one of the state's best quarterbacks, and got the guy coming up as well for these Thunderbirds that I think could have next in terms of best quarterback in the state with how young he is. I mean, 26 is just incredible still when you're talking about Kasuga.
Well, and you see the steady calmness with Villa, right? He knows he can get the first downs with his legs. He's comfortable moving the chains on the ground. But Kasuga, the explosiveness, the live arm that he has, you're just waiting for him to settle in and improve the decision-making from week to week. And once that happens, you have to think that he'll maybe take over that spot. He is a young player, there's no doubt about it. So was McKay Hillstead when he first started at Skyridge.
Yeah, Hillstead, a 3-year starter. Kasuga going to end up as a 4-year starter. But whether you're talking about Hilliman, Kasuga, or as well as Kaysen Villa as well, I mean, would start at just about every other school, to his credit, too. And we'll see if he gets to start next week. Martinez rips one in. Peck couldn't hang on. It'll be 3rd and 11.
Yeah, and you're seeing this Bingham offense fighting a little bit against what they do best, right? It's all about ball control with them and picking their spots where they can be explosive. Kind of forced into throwing the ball here at the end of the game, and Martinez trying to put all the mustard he can on that pass, just not able to get the ball completed. It's great effort by this Bingham team. I think that you and I both kind of felt like this was going to be a competitive affair, and they kept it strong through 3 quarters.
Yes. Always hanging around, still bringing a little bit of energy right now as Martinez on 3rd and 11 with a minute remaining is going to go with the quarterback draw, trying to run and get away, but he's brought down from behind.
Well, and you see the tackle's not made by Acera, but they're on the QB spy, seeing how effective it is, as Martinez has to hesitate, seeing that big, huge athletic body out there, able to be dragged down from behind as the clock winds down here on 4th down.
Yeah, great job by J.J. Tahua coming down from his safety spot, making a play as well, and we'll see if the Miners can add to the score here. And this Bingham team's going to go to 2-2, but once again, your 2 losses are to Corner Canyon and Timpview. 2 teams I would argue are top 5 in the state. Think you'll be okay. Martinez buying time, backpedaling. Isera hits him, nearly intercepted.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to get a roughing the passer penalty here on Timpview as Martinez gets drilled outside the pocket. Acera, that's a tough one on him, right? Because that's a big body, hard for him to slow down there. Martinez thrown off his back foot. One of those throws that maybe you'll look at film and think about doing something different with it next time. You love the effort on 4th down, though, trying to make something happen.
Timpview going for the most unnecessary roughness penalties in a single game in the state this year early, but when you're up by this much, you can afford to be over-aggressive.
Yeah, well, and look, the game may be out of reach in terms of the score, but it's still competitive on the field, right? And if you're a Sarah, you want to play to the whistle, and you're going to play hard. And so I respect the effort. And the officials have a job to do as well in protecting those quarterbacks.
For sure, yeah.
Sometimes you just have to live with a penalty in life, JT.
Indeed you do. See Bingham coming over and talking things over one last time. And yeah, this Thunderbirds team with an incredible showing. You see the personal foul called in, so we'll see if the Miners are able to find the end zone. But Martinez, Fotu, this is a group that's going to be really strong. And look, it's no shade on them that Timpview ran the ball well on them. Beckstead, Fano and crew, does not on everyone. They did it on the reigning 6A state champion, Lone Peak Knights. And I know Lone Peak ain't the same team as they were last year, but still proof they've done it against anyone this year.
Yeah, and just a really outstanding performance from them tonight. And looks like this penalty going to be waived off? What's going on here?
Yeah, there's a lot of confusion going on right now because it looked like Coach Fernandez said it was declining it. So,
yeah.
But they're also protesting it as well. You can tell they're getting mad at the officials, so they're trying to sort out all of our confusion. You know, our second half for the most part flew by, but these last 5 minutes have really kind of dragged on as we figure everything out and get the official call in. We'll get the offense back on the field.
Yeah, so it looks like we had offsetting personal fouls on both teams. I didn't see the second personal foul.
I actually think I didn't catch the number, but I think one of the offensive linemen for the Miners didn't love the extracurricular hit after, and I think he came in and made contact because of it.
Yeah, and again, a tough loss here for Bingham. This is a team that's fought hard all season long. You know, one that I think, you know, this is a program that's in transition, coming off of a hard season last year under a new coaching staff and looking to establish an identity. And like you talked about, they are 2-2, but they're probably one of the best 2-2 teams in the state. I know you are what your record says you are, but going into region play, this is a team that should be playing with a lot of confidence. 15 seconds left.
15 seconds actually remaining. Clock playing tricks on me a few times, and we'll see the knee from the Thunderbirds, and that will do. And we still somehow.
We're going to get a substitution infraction here.
Substitution infraction will be the call, indeed, to wrap it up here. But Brian, while we get set for this final snap, just your thoughts on the game today.
Well, you and I were very excited for this game, and it definitely lived up to the expectations for me. You know, loved what I saw in terms of fight effort from Bingham. You know, this is a well-coached team with a veteran coaching staff against a Timpview team that is loaded with talent, new coaching staff, still learning and growing under that. But you have to be impressed with the performance of Beckstead, Villa, Helam Kasuga, and of course our guy, Baby Donald Siale Acera.
Timpview will take a timeout. So we're not done quite yet as Timpview decides to burn a timeout. I mean, maybe the play clock was getting low or something?
One of those ones where you just want to get your personnel settled, make sure that you get everything taken care of, right? You don't want to give up any kind of fumbles or touchdowns or anything like that late in the game.
If you're the Miners, do you think you see it that way as well, or are you a little bit like, come on, guys, let's take the knee?
It's been a tough competition, right up to the last minute. So I don't think there's any ill will or hard feelings on the part of the Bingham Miners here. You know, they were trying to score a touchdown right up until the last minute of the game. So at this point in time, you can kind of understand that Timpview needs to take a timeout to catch a breath.
And that will do it on this one as the final knee for the Thunderbirds touches the ground. A good turnout for Timpview tonight. Always a great time out here at Bingham High School as well. And it's going to be a fun, as we already talked about a little bit, but fun season ahead for both these teams, Brian.
Yeah, really exciting game for us tonight. You know, we were looking forward to this one, as I've said a million times already on the broadcast. But first time seeing Beckstead with my own eyes, really impressed by him. Siale Acera obviously lived up to the billing. And, you know, these two teams, this is a non-region game, so as they split off and go fight for their region crowns, you have to believe that both of these teams feel very confident going through their slate.
The Bingham Miners will move to 2-2. The Timpview Thunderbirds will move to 4-0. And everything is awesome in Timpview as we close out a night here from Ron Thorne Stadium. Your final 49-30. The Timpview Thunderbirds take it. For our fantastic cameraman, Tino, my man, next to me in the booth, Brian Brown, I'm JT Wistersill. Have a great night.